But every one of these dopes is advocating something that won't cause them pain. Slotkin won't be dishonorably discharged. Kelly won't be court-martialed. But those still serving, they're the ones who will take the heat if they take the videos seriously. But worst of all, think globally. It's nuts that none of these people stopped and thought, maybe this isn't a good message to send to our enemies. Talk about subversion. So if you hear later that one of our guys flips over to China or Russia, remember the 6 Dems urging them to fight Congress's battles for them. It's advice given from the comfort of their Washington offices that they can now drive home from without getting carjacked because someone followed Trump's orders. But every one of these dopes is advocating something that won't cause them pain. Slotkin won't be dishonorably discharged. Kelly won't be court-martialed. But those still serving, they're the ones who will take the heat if they take the videos seriously. But worst of all, think globally.
Think globally.
It's nuts that none of these people stopped and thought, maybe this isn't a good...
Not a good sign for our enemies. That's crazy. What's up, everybody? So great to see everybody here tonight. It's a wonderful Friday night. We got, we got Catherine K. was first tonight. Yes. Yay, Jim's out tonight. That's right. You buy now, says Trump allies with Mandami. The commie Mandami, MTG resigns. Yeah, it's crazy. That broke late. America's burning. Where is Jim to tell us? Jim is here. MTG resigns. Trumpinator, what's up? I guess now a Democrat will get elected to take her place. No, that's a red district. She'll be fine. She's fucking around, though, and she might be purposely weighted because that way there won't be a special election, because if she resigns on January 5th, then that seat remains empty the entire year. So she's trying to fuck over Republicans. She's purposely doing it, so that's bad. What's up, the other guy? How you doing? Hey, what's up, Jay Marco? How you doing? Yabba dabba doo. Hurricane Smith, what's up, man? Pat Hacker, how you doing tonight? Jim in the champion chat, good to see you too. Brian Agnes says, howdy, y'all fine diggers. It's great to see you guys. Yes, Sharon Tyler's here too. What's up, Jim and Jim Somniacs? MTG announced she's resigning January 5th. What's up, Cat Snow? How you doing? Yes, Pat Hacker, good to see you. If I listen to this music, it makes me have a seizure. Okay, I'm sorry. Sorry, I'll have to change it. I didn't know. Hello, hi everybody. How you doing? I read that her pension will be vested January 3rd. I guess she stayed long enough for that. That's sad, isn't it? What's up? None of your business. How you doing? Tim Fidman's here. What's up? How you doing? First confused Travolta. Yes. What's up? And hail Jim Sonic. What's up? I am Bob. Oh, Cannibal Wizard's here too. What's up? Tim Larson's here. What's up? How you doing? Hello. So, we got some news tonight to talk about, as usual. And as usual, I'll just say it once because I don't want to be like a broken record, but there is a goal. As you can see, there's some links pinned in the chat for PayPal and Cash App and for this thing called Ko-Fi, something. I don't know. But anyway, and then you also have Rumble Rants and YouTube Super Chats, gifted memberships for November, and ads. What's up, Gilly? How you doing? Damn it. I knew I screwed something up tonight. As per usual. Can't make it one night without screwing something up. All right, they should be off now. I apologize. I apologize. What's up? Okay. Yes, I got them now. So, as I was saying, for every $75 that comes in across all platforms, gifted memberships, super chats, Rumble Rants, Cash App, PayPal, Ko-Fi, coffee, whatever you call it, this show will get extended by an extra hour for an additional hour for every $75 that comes in. When the first $50 comes in, we activate Bellavision. Or if an individual donation of $25 or greater comes in, then it's an automatic Bellavision, right? Bing, bang, boom. So, MTG wasn't a politician, just a citizen doing a job. It's hard job, dirty politics. Yeah. What's up, Lintic Mike? How you doing? AIDS would be better. Yeah, it could be. So let's just jump into the first story of the evening. Obama appointed Judge Sarah Ellis tried to impose enforcement rules on ICE. The federal appeals court just overturned her. They smacked her down, told her she was nuts. So,
following breaking developments in the immigration enforcement crackdown, an appeals court has temporarily blocked a judge's order restricting the use of force by federal agents against protesters and journalists. The panel of 3 judges saying today Judge Sarah Ellis's order was overbroad and resembles a federal regulation. Following breaking developments in the immigration enforcement crackdown.
That's the immigration enforcement crackdown. And I just like that, I got a notification on on the old Cash App there that somebody gave me $5 on the Cash Apps. So that means that we are currently $70 away from the first additional hour and $40 away from Bellavision. So thank you, whoever that was. And then, Brian Ogden with a gifted membership comes in. I don't want to say the name of the person on Cash App, so whoever it was, thank you for the $5. And thank you for the $6 for the gifted membership, Brian Ogden. And that's Cat Snow. Cat Snow received a gifted membership. So there you go, Cat. You're now a member. These nuts, Jim? No, it's the name, but I don't want to say his names. I think it might be you, Trumpinator, but I'm not 100% sure if that's you. I think. Maybe. But I don't know. So with that, we are 64 away from the first additional hour and 39 away from Bellavision. MTG done? Yeah, it sounds like she's done. Sounds like she's done. Yes. Thank you for the gifted membership. Welcome to the Greenies. Woo! You're welcome, Kat. Yeah. So now you get to use all those cool emojis. You can check out all the emojis that are there. Well. Oh, okay. That was that was Trumpinator. Thank you. D's nuts. I see it now. Anyway, so yeah, so that happened. So this judge got ruled against, but so she didn't like it. So she decided, she just decided to issue a report. The federal judge's report shares details on use of force during Operation Midway Blitz. Yeah. So yeah, this judge, a federal judge has released an extensive report on federal immigration agents' use of force during Operation Midway Blitz. Extensive report, over 200 pages long. And she didn't like it that the appeals court temporarily blocked the preliminary injunction handed down by the federal judge, which restricted how often agents could deploy chemical agents in the crowd of protests, and so she wasn't happy about that. So let's see here.
It's a force case filed by protesters against the Department of Homeland Security. We saw much of that play out here in Broadview over the last 2 months, but Judge Ellis essentially questioning the truth behind many of the government's claims throughout this case. The Seventh Circuit Appellate Court has temporarily blocked the preliminary injunction handed down by federal Judge Sarah Ellis, which restricted how often agents could deploy chemical agents into a crowd of protesters. Now, Ellis issuing her written opinion explaining what evidence she used to decide her ruling against DHS. In a scathing 233-page report, Ellis says in part, while defendants may argue that the court identifies only minor inconsistencies, every minor inconsistency adds up, and at some point it becomes difficult, if not.
This judge was already told by the appeals court that she made herself an inquisitor, which she clearly did by making this report. So this judge is no longer a judge. This judge is now a persecutor of the government by, basically working with the activists. So that's where we're at now. And even though the appeals court smacked her down and told her to knock it off, and basically said you've placed yourself as an inquisitor, not an arbiter of the facts, just don't care. I mean, we are living in a judicial tyranny right now, and a judicial coup is happening, and they're trying to basically subvert everything our government's trying to do to get the legals out of our country. Yes. Yeah, a coup is in progress. Wow, did not see that coming. Yeah, right? Yeah, so yesterday they said, oh, you can't do this. And today she's like, I'm going to release a report, and I'm going to tell you what I really think, because I did an investigation. That's not a judge's job, is to do an investigation. That's the whole thing they told her. Hey, Renee Collins, what's up? Nice to see you. Yes. Monty Python Inquisition. Yes. Yeah, MTG is retiring one day after her lifetime pension kicks in. And after the time limit where they could actually have a special election to replace her, I believe. I might be wrong, though.
Impossible to believe almost anything the defendants represent. Judge Ellis went on to explain some of those inconsistencies, including this moment caught on video in Little Village on October 23rd involving Border Patrol Commander Gregory Bavino. Bavino had initially claimed he deployed tear gas after a rock was thrown at him by protesters, but in a later deposition, he admitted that was not the case. Ellis goes on to say, turning to Bavino, the court specifically finds his testimony not credible. Bavino appeared evasive over the 3 days of his deposition, either providing cute responses to plaintiff's counsel's questions or outright lying. Today, protesters reacted to the judge's remarks, saying they believe the use of force in Broadview was never justified.
They were basically using pepper balls like toys, like it was a paintball gun fight. they pretty much took any excuse to fire whatever they could.
Meanwhile, DHS issued a statement late this afternoon calling the Seventh Circuit appellate ruling a win for law enforcement across America, while also responding to...
Yeah, the judge is retarded. That's supposed to say that. Yeah, the Seventh Circuit has temporarily blocked it, and Judge Ellis is issuing her opinion. Now she's issuing her opinion, even though they said she's overstepped her bounds, way over her skis, and knocked her down. And then she pointed to several examples where she believes the Department of Homeland Security narrative was untrue. So her opinion is that it was untrue. She just see what she said. His answers were cute and this and that. It's not the facts, which a judge is supposed to do. She's not the judge. She's on the side of the illegal aliens and the activists. Appeals court blocked the order earlier this week. Yeah, and the report pointed to an incident outside Broadview. Yeah, and the report also noted that one instance an agent asked ChatGPT to create the use of force reports based on a brief sentence. Yeah, because they're so busy. These guys are out working. They don't have time to write all these friggin' reports. So they're having people do EI create the reports for them. Why not? So it undermines their credibility. So they take this guy's word for it, this long-haired hippie fag. Yeah. We've seen Halloween youth bear tear gas. DHS issued a statement calling the Seventh Circuit a win for law enforcement. Judge Ellis's thoughts on the 20th century poetry and Chief Pavino's conduct in the order are noted. They don't change the reality of the situation on the ground at the appeals level. Throughout Operation Midway Blitz, rioters and other violent criminals have threatened our law enforcement, thrown rocks and other stuff, slashed tires, rammed vehicles, ambushed them, even shot at them. So, Hey, what's up, Vanilla Gorilla? Nice to see you tonight. How you doing? Hey, Kelly made it. What's up, Kelly? Great to see you. Lady Bomb is here. What's up? How you doing? Yeah, stop your whining, babies. That's what I say. So the Seventh Circuit is set to have another hearing on the use of force case for December 17th. And so it's also expected to be a federal trial in the matter in early March, as Ellis said she'd like to get some ground rules if there's another surge of operations in the spring. That's not her fucking job. These people, if they want to be they should run for president if they want to control the executive branch, because judiciary is not the place to do this shit. Yeah, the judge's 200-page report. Is it the judge's job to write a report? Does that even make sense? A report. The judge made a report. AP says, judge's blistering opinion details use of force in the Chicago area immigration crackdown. Yeah, and so they show the fake pastor. What do you know? This blistering opinion has offered a cachet of striking new details from the body camera footage. So you're going to tell me that this judge was able to watch all the body camera footage? No, she didn't watch any of it. She took what they told her, and that's what she wrote. She didn't watch any of the fucking body cam footage. I'll bet money on it. Then we got this. Look at this. We got the Ruben Gallego. The cartel-linked senator from Arizona is a Chicago native all of a sudden. Oh, he's a Chicago native. He has deep ties to the cartels operating in Chicago, it seems. Ruben Gallego walked down 26th Street in a little village on Friday when moments of his past came back to life. It's where he came every year to buy shoes for school, across the street from the shop where he rented a tuxedo for the prom. Many of the restaurants don't look familiar, because they're all closed down and all different places, been taken over by the cartels. And my family would come down here for everything. Very fond memories. He wanted to see everything himself. He felt responsible to see, given his membership in the Senate's Committee on Homeland Security. And he acknowledged there's not much a Democrat in a Republican-controlled Senate that can do to shield Chicago from Trump's immigration crackdown. So he wants to shield illegal aliens. That's a crime. I'm sick of it, man. Start arresting all these fucking people. I've had it. I really have. You start in the La Valita shopping center to talk to the mom and pop grocery stores and the quinceanera shop. For months, he followed the immigration raids and watched the footage, and it reminded him of serving in the Marines in Iraq. And here, just covering accounts of everything happening in Chicago from relatives and friends who still live here. The videos angered him. So just represent the Chicago mob or the Arizona cartel or both. Well, the Chicago mob's pretty much non-existent anymore. It's the cartels run Chicago now, and they have since the mid 2000s. So. Oh, well, the owner prepared a plate of chicharrones for the welcome guests. I believe those are like fried pig's skins or something like that. Anyway. Oh. Yeah, so that's it. So that's what we got. More crap. And we got another judge. I got a whole bunch of stuff, so I'm going to be moving fast tonight. I apologize. So a federal judge blocks IRS from releasing tax data to assist in deportation. So we got another one now. Just, like, no, federal government, you can't use the information you already have to bust the illegals. You're going to have to go and find new stuff. Yeah, it's such a biased report. Yes, it's brutal. Hey, what's up, HJ Remy? How you doing? Nice to see you. Life Isn't Different is here too. What's up? He says he's lurking. Serenity's here. What's up? How you doing? What the F's here too. What's up, man? How you doing? A federal judge in Washington ruled that the federal government likely violated the law in adopting an information release policy. Hey, Fran VT, what's up? How you doing? The Polish, Jewish, Italian mobs are still there, but the cartels took over, man, because they didn't get in on the drug trade until it was too late. The Jewish and Polish mobs are non-existent in Chicago and have been since the late 70s. An Italian mob, the outfit has been vastly decimated in Chicago. Federal judge on November 21st, put it this way, the Italian mob has been forced to use biker gangs to do a lot of their stuff, and it didn't work out. There was Jewish mobs are and Polish mob basically same, kind of almost the same thing, really. Jewish and Polish mob, Jaime Weiss, anyway. District Judge Colleen Kohler-Catelli of the District of Columbia issued a preliminary injunction against the IRS after determining that the groups that brought the lawsuit had legal standing to sue. Well, they did, huh? The lawsuit, known as the Center for Taxpayer Rights, is ongoing, and standing refers to someone's right to sue in court. And she said in her opinion that the plaintiffs have shown a substantial likelihood that the interagency agreement allowing the sharing of information is unlawful under the Administrative Procedures Act. That's not what the Administrative Procedures Act is for. It has nothing to do. It has to do with procedures that are going to be like things done to us, like when they want to change something that's going to affect us. The government saying we'll give you this information. That's not a thing that even has to go for question. It's ridiculous. It's an act in 1946 that governs administrative law. It's weird. It's been in law since 1946, but it's only just since Trump's been in office that they're using it to go after everything they try to do, huh? It's the Bill of Rights for hundreds of thousands of Americans whose affairs are controlled or regulated in one way or another by agencies of the federal government. Well, we already have a Bill of Rights. It's the Bill of Rights. The plaintiffs brought the lawsuit have shown that the IRS disclosure of confidential taxpayer address information to ICE was contrary to law because it doesn't comply with certain requirements in your internal revenue code. Really? Although the IRS said it was complying with the taxpayer protection provisions, the IRS unlawful conduct has created substantial likelihood. Maybe it's the people's unlawful conduct. They're breaking the law. The opinion states that the plaintiffs allege the IRS moved away from its longstanding policy of strictly protecting confidential taxpayer information and adopted a new policy. The IRS entered an agreement with the U.S. Customs Enforcement in April of 2025 to share such information and handed over address information of 47,000 taxpayers. Yes, so address information of illegal aliens. If they didn't hand it over, wouldn't that be harboring illegal aliens if you have the information? If you're a law enforcement agency and you have the information and it's a federal law and the IRS has to follow federal law also. Jeez. That was weird. Mm-hmm. As a basis for its decision to transfer the information to ICE, the IRS relied on a representation from ICE that a single individual at ICE was personally and directly engaged in more than 1 million criminal investigations or proceedings. Okay. And the plaintiffs have shown the IRS's address sharing policy was arbitrary and capricious because the IRS failed to acknowledge and explain its departure from its policy prior to strict confidentiality. First of all, addresses are not private taxpayer information. Your fucking addresses are listed in every phone book. You know, addresses is not. It's really not. Not a private information. It's not. You know, it's all public information. You own a house, it's public. You pay taxes, all public record. Reliance interests are expectations. The interests serve to create a bias in favor of maintaining the status quo. Status quo of allowing illegal aliens, yes. Mm-hmm. Oh. So SB Farmer says, just watch Death of Stalin on Tubi. Death of Stalin's a great movie. Steve Buscemi does a great job. A phone book? What's that? They still send out phone books. Privacy laws enacted post-Watergate exist to prevent abuses of power like this. Abuses of power would be if they were digging into people's like taxes and stuff they were paying. They just got people's names. They want addresses. That's it. Addresses. It's a thing Jim still owns. Yes, I still have a phone book. Epic Times reached out for comment from the Department of Justice, and no reply was received by the publication date. I mean, this is just crazy. Yeah. This says, federal judge blocks IRS from sharing information to help ICE with deportations. It's to give ICE the addresses of the fucking illegal aliens. That's it. Violent Night was awesome movie. Is that the movie where they're in the bus or whatever it was coming out of Chicago? They were going to watch a fight with like Cuba Gooding Jr. and Emilio Estevez. Is that the night? And they're trying to get out of the city or something like that? Everyone has a cell phone, but cell numbers are in the local phone books. Yeah, unless you have an unlisted number, they are. No, that's not that movie? Oh. Is it the yellow pages? The white pages? Oh, Santa Kills Home Invasion. I was thinking it's Santa fighting people. Oh, what movie am I thinking? Well, something like that. Something night. A lot of classic Mamaland stories you hear or read from Stories Murder Inc., mainly Jewish mobsters and the press that were hired by the time Mom do their hits. Yeah. My favorite Christmas movie? Just watch. Oh, okay. I'll have to check it out. You know what? I think the movie I'm thinking of is called maybe Judgment Night or something like that with Emilio. It's an older movie, Cuba Gooding Jr., and they're like driving an RV or something. Anyway, or Judgment Night maybe or something like that. They blocked the IRS from giving the home addresses of taxpayers that might be undocumented immigrants. Oh. We'll see. It's going to get appealed. Well, obviously, you need to explain. Watch it. I got this story. Hey, what's up, Sunshine? Great to see you. Robot Santa episodes. Santa's actually an ancient Viking warrior. Oh, okay. Favorite Christmas movie still Die Hard? Maybe. Supreme Court meets to weigh Trump's birthright citizenship restrictions blocked by lower courts. Supreme Court is to meet in private Friday with a high-profile issue on its agenda. President Trump's birthright citizenship order declaring that children born to parents who are in the country illegally or temporarily are not American citizens. Yes, that's actually keeping with Juan Kim Ark. That's actually what Juan Kim Ark says. Justice could say as soon as Monday whether they will hear Trump's appeal. They have not taken effect anywhere in the U.S. If the court steps in now, the case will be argued in the spring with a definitive ruling expected by early summer. The birthright citizenship order, which Trump signed on the first day of his second term, is part of his administration's broad immigration crackdown. Other actions include immigration enforcement surges in several cities and the first peacetime invocation of the Alien Enemies Act. That's a lie. It's not the first peacetime invocation of it. That's a fucking lie. The administration is facing multiple court challenges, and the High Court has sent mixed signals. The emergency order it has issued. Justice has effectively stopped the use of the Alien Enemies Act to rapidly deport Venezuelan gang members without court hearings, while they allowed the resumption of sweeping immigration stops in Los Angeles area after a lower court blocked the practice on stopping people solely based on, see, they say solely based on their, and then they go race, language, job, or location. So that's not solely on any, that's a whole list of things. So it's not solely on anything. The justices are also weighing the administration's emergency appeal to be allowed to deploy the National Guard troops in Chicago for immigration enforcement. Oh, HHH Custom Knives. What's up, man? How you doing? Hey, I just realized I was gifted a membership. I'm better late than never. Want to say thanks. Hey, no problem, man. You're a softie for Heroes That Save Young Girls. Well, that's nice. The old claymation cartoons were awesome. Island of Misfits. Oh, yeah. The Rankin Bass stuff was great. Rankin Bass. You can get those on Blu-ray and stuff from Amazon. All those movies. Different ones. So, birthright citizenship is the first immigration-related policy to reach the court for a final ruling. Trump's order would upend more than 100. No, it's not. It would not upend more than 125 years of understanding. That's actually not true. People fucking lie. It's because this says confers citizenship on everyone born on American soil, with narrow exceptions for children of foreign diplomats and those born to a foreign occupying force. That's actually not what it says, and that's a fucking lie. These people are lying. Juan Kim Ark did not say that at all. In a series of decisions, lower courts have struck down the executive order. While the Supreme Court curbed the use of nationwide injunctions, it did not rule out other courts' orders that could have nationwide effects, including class action lawsuits and those brought by states. The justice did not decide at the time whether the underlying citizenship order is constitutional. But every lower court that has looked at the issue has concluded that Trump's order violates, or most likely violates, the 14th Amendment, which was intended to ensure that black people, including former slaves, had citizenship. No. It was specifically so that black former slaves could have citizenship. That's what it was specifically for. It's not what it was intended. That was exactly what it was intended to do. U.S. Court of Appeals for the Ninth Circuit ruled in July that a group of states that sued over the order needed a nationwide injunction to prevent the problems that would be caused by birthright citizenship being in effect in some states and not others. My guess is that SCOTUS will come back and say that Congress has the right to pass a law about birthright citizenship. I don't understand what you mean by that, though. Also in July, a federal judge in New Hampshire blocked the citizenship order in a class action lawsuit, including all children that would be affected. Oh, that's the judge that said, like, future children. So children that aren't born yet have rights, according to that judge, but they don't have the right to not be murdered in Boston or New Hampshire or wherever it was. So the ACLU, leading a legal team in New Hampshire case, urged the court to reject the appeal because the administration's arguments are so flimsy. But if the court decides to hear the case, we're more than ready to take Trump on and win. It's not flimsy. It's exactly what Juan Kim Ark says. I don't know. Birthright citizenship automakes anybody born in the United States an American citizen. Yeah, just step across the border. You're a citizen. Yeah. The right was enshrined soon after the Civil War. The administration has asserted that children of non-citizens are not subject to the jurisdiction of the United States and therefore are not entitled to citizenship. Yeah. I mean, hey, Vince, what's up? Nice to see you. Lower court's decision to validate a policy of prime importance to the president and the administration on a matter that undermines our border security. Those decisions confer without lawful justification the privilege of American citizenship on hundreds of thousands of unqualified people. Branca doesn't believe in birthright citizenship. Anybody who truly looks at it, Steve doesn't believe in it. I mean, if you're not like subject to the jurisdiction of the United States, you're not. And subject to jurisdiction means that you're here with permission and that you're going to stay here. It's specifically said when they talked about it, not travelers, not aliens. What did they mean by aliens and foreigners and travelers? What did they mean if they didn't mean illegal aliens or people that are just here visiting? I mean, It's in the Senate record. I mean, it's there for anyone to look at it. You know, and the same thing is just basically reported in here. You know, Supreme Court to waive Trump's citizenship restrictions. Mm-hmm. Okay, and we got this too. The Supreme Court's going to weigh the pivotal decision on which congressional map Texas can use in the 2026 midterms. That's right, because there was a 3-judge panel, not an appeals court, just a 3-judge panel that said, "Oh, you can't use it." But where's it at here? But we had this breaking. Justice Alito administratively pauses the lower court's decision regarding the Texas redistricting. So the Supreme Court has already paused it. It is ordered that the November 18th order of the United States Court for Western District is hereby administratively stayed pending further order of the undersigned or of the court. It is further ordered that a response to the application be filed on or before Monday, November 24th at 5 p.m. So the judge's order telling them they have to use the map from before is paused. So they're going to use the map. They're going to hurry up and get it done. Wait, you're saying on January 5th, end of her term, 2027? I thought she said 2026 she was going to. She knows MAGA will primary her and she will lose. Brian Ogden says, did my picture change? Yeah, you're Mork from Mork coming out of the egg. That's what I see. That's how the 14th has been interpreted is that they do have birthright citizenship, but the Congress has the right to make birthright citizenship legal, basically punting on the issue. Well, no, I mean, that's not how it's been. The only case on this, the law actually is Wong Kim Ark, or whatever the name is, Wong Kim Ark. And in that case, he was born to lawful permanent residence, which is basically the same as a green card holder. So a green card holder would be somebody that is subject to the jurisdiction of, the United States. That's somebody who's subject to jurisdiction. I mean, maybe not totally, but mostly. So, who knows? We'll have to see what happens. So the Supreme Court will now make the final decision on whether Texas can use its congressional maps, which is drawn to benefit Republicans. The outcome could have huge impacts on which party controls the House in the future. Can we get the facts on the MTG thing? Hold on. Thought I had it here. Let me look. So here's Marjorie Taylor Greene. This says she will leave Congress January 5th, 2026.
Hi, everyone. I've always represented the common American man and woman as a member of the House of Representatives, which is why I've always been despised in Washington, D.C., and just never fit in. Americans are used by the political industrial complex of both political parties, election cycle after election cycle, in order to elect whichever side can convince Americans to hate the other side more. And the results are always the same. No matter which way the political pendulum swings, Republican or Democrat, nothing ever gets better for the common American man or woman. The debt goes higher, corporate and global interests remain Washington's sweethearts, American jobs continue to be replaced, whether it's by illegal labor or legal labor by visas or just shipped overseas. Small businesses continue to be swallowed by big corporations. Americans' hard-earned tax dollars always fund foreign wars, foreign aid, and foreign interest, and the spending power of the dollar continues to decline. The average American family can no longer survive on a single breadwinner's income, as both parents have to work in order to simply survive. And today, many in my children's generation feel hope.
Well, why is that, Marjorie? Maybe because you fucking employ illegal aliens at your construction company, driving down wages for the Americans, make them work for cheap. So maybe Liz Cheney should think about that and stop employing illegal aliens and give Americans some good paying jobs and actually pay them a living wage instead of fucking driving the wages down with illegal aliens, which you said you want them to stay. You don't want them deported because you need to make money at your construction company. That's what you said. Those were your words.
Hopeless for their future and don't think they will ever realize the American dream. And that breaks my heart. I ran for Congress in 2020 and have fought every single day believing that Make America Great Again meant America first. I have one of the most conservative voting records in Congress, defending the First Amendment, Second Amendment, unborn babies, because I believe God creates life at conception, and I love to fight for the little guy. Strong, safe borders, I have fought hard for that. I've fought against COVID tyrannical insanity and mandated mass vaccinations, and I've never voted to fund foreign wars with your hard-earned tax dollars. However, with almost 1 year into our majority, the legislature has been mostly sidelined. We endured an 8-week shutdown, wrongly, resulting in the House not working for the entire time, and we are entering campaign season, which means all courage leaves and only safe campaign re-election mode is turned on in the House of Representatives. During the longest shutdown in our nation's history, I raged against my own speaker and my own party for refusing to proactively work diligently to pass a plan to save Americans' health care and protect Americans from outrageous, overpriced, and unaffordable health insurance policies. The House should have been in session working every day to fix this disaster, but instead America was force-fed disgusting political drama once again from both sides of the aisle on television every single day. My bills, which reflect many of President Trump's executive orders, like calling for a new census counting Americans only to draw new districts, making English the official language of the U.S., making it a felony to medically trans a minor, and other bills like eliminating capital gains taxes on the sale of your primary home and eliminating H-1B visas, just sit. They all sit collecting dust. That's how it is for most members of Congress bills. The Speaker never brings them to the floor for a vote. Many common Americans are no longer easily convinced by paid political propaganda spokespersons and consultants on TV and paid shills on social media, obediently serving with cult-like conviction to force others to swallow the political party talking points. Because they know how much credit card debt they have, they know how much their bills have gone up over the past 5 years. They actually do their own grocery shopping and know food costs too much. Their rent has increasingly gone up and up. They have been outbid by corporate asset managers too many times when they put in an offer to buy a house. They have been laid off after being forced to train their visa holding replacement. The college degree they were told to earn only left them in debt with no big 6-figure salary. They see more homeless people than ever on their own community streets. They can't afford health insurance or practically any insurance, and they just aren't stupid. These are the people I represent and love because that is who all of my family and friends are, common Americans. I've been blessed to represent the 14th District of Georgia for 5 years. The district is filled with some of the most wonderful, kind-hearted, God-fearing, patriotic, hardworking people you will ever meet. Good, regular, common Americans. I've worked hard to bring taxpayer dollars back home to help district needs. I impeached Biden's Secretary of Homeland after watching my constituents die as he facilitated dangerous open border invasion into America. And I led the effort to defund hard-left politically biased NPR and PBS and the corrupt USAID, and I did that as chair of the DOJ subcommittee. I have fought harder than almost any other elected Republican to elect Donald Trump and Republicans to power. I traveled the country for years. I spent millions of my own money. I missed precious time with my family that I can never get back. And I showed up in places like outside the New York courthouse in Collect Pond Park against a raging leftist mob as Trump faced Democrat lawfare. Meanwhile, most of the establishment Republicans who secretly hate him and who stabbed him in the back and never defended him against anything have all been welcomed in right after the election. And I will never forget the day I had to leave my mother's side as my father had brain surgery to remove cancerous tumors in order to fly to Washington, D.C. to defend President Trump and vote no against the Democrats' second impeachment in 2021. My poor father and my poor mother, it was way too much for all of us.
Oh my God. Is she going to fucking get to the point already? Jesus. Fuck, man. We know. You did everything. Oh God. It was so bad. You went and sat and saw Trump and whatever, man. Jesus. Where are we at here? Ag says, does 25 still work for Bellavision? Yes, 25 would still work for Bellavision. Most definitely. Rachel Boone says, finally home. Good to see you, Jim. Good to see you too. So 6 more weeks, we never have to hear from her again. I'm waiting to find out if she'd ever get to the fucking point already. Jesus. And Jay says she'll ask for a job. I don't know. I don't know if Trump's going to give her a job. She keeps taking shots at Trump, saying stuff. You know, she doesn't have nothing that he needs that he's going to be able to, need to forgive her for any reason. So we can't afford assurance, but we are mandated to buy it. Yeah, and she just wants it to, But hey, she'll fall back on her lifetime pension and OnlyFans. Who would pay to see that? Come on. She made millions with her insider trading, and now she's going to be run home, quiet life. See you next Tuesday. Millions of her money. Yeah. Oh, poor you. Who would pay for MTG only? I don't know, man. She was hardcore MAGA, but she went so far left. Was she? But see, that's the thing. Was she ever really hardcore MAGA? Was she? Or was it just all a bunch of baloney? That's the question you got to ask. So much talking, but nothing being said. That's right. And hey, look at this Ko-Fi page, old Ko-Fi Streambot. Yeah, great. So she is too principled to ever ally with anyone ever again. Good for her. Yeah. She'll have lots of free time now. She'll have plenty of free time. Oh, hey, what's up? How you doing? And I'm sure there'll be some degenerates out there. Maybe. Yeah. Wah. Chicken Little. She is. Yes, she is. Typical woman can't shut up and just nags. Seventh Circuit on Wednesday agreed to stay in insane order by an activist judge that sought to stop agents of Tecker balls. Yes, they did. And then the judge wrote a report saying that she doesn't believe the government and all this stuff and tried to issue another thing. So it's just to say that the Seventh Circuit basically accused the judge of being an inquisitor. Not just, that the judge was way over her skis. Did her son Bo die in Iraq? Not that I know of. Wasn't that Joe Biden's son Bo? That didn't die in Iraq, but he says died in Iraq. She's a one-hit wonder. Yeah. I think she saw the writing on the wall and realized she'll never be Senator Green or President Green and gave it up. Could be. Oh, all right. God, we're 6 minutes in and she still hasn't said what the fuck we came to hear.
Through it all, I never changed or went back on my campaign promises and only disagreed in a few areas, like my stance against H-1Bs replacing American jobs, AI state moratoriums, debt for life 50-year mortgage scams, standing strongly against all involvement in foreign wars, and demanding the release of the Epstein files. Other than that, my voting record has been solidly with my party and the president. Loyalty should be a two-way street. And we should be able to vote our conscience and represent our district's interests because our job title is literally representative.
Literally.
America first should mean America first and only Americans first, with no other foreign country ever being attached to America first in our halls of government. Standing up for American women who were raped at 14 years old, trafficked and used by rich, powerful men should not result in
What? Wait. Which girl? I want to know which. I want to know which girl was raped at 14 because everything I've heard said 17, 18 or older. Really. I'd really like to know which one who was 14. Who was 14? Which girl? I haven't seen Audra in a while. I saw Audra last night. Audra was here last night. Yeah. Sarcasm. About Paul Abdul has more hits than her. Wizard of Oz, one hit wonder. Yeah, she's a DEI of the family. I think Bo Biden's blaming Bo on a cancer pits, which, if we're being honest, wouldn't be surprising. Yeah, no, you know who else? I think. Well, I'm not sure. There was also the stuff at Lejeune, the water. There was stuff with there was fuel and stuff leaking into the water that they think was causing cancer. Which I think I think that's what got Paul Harrell was the water at Lejeune, maybe. I don't know.
And me being called a traitor and threatened by the President of the United States, whom I fought for.
Threatened?
However,
Oh, no, you're a
while,
victim.
yes, hurtful, my heart remains filled with joy, my life is filled with happiness, and my true convictions remain unchanged, because my self-worth is not defined by a man, but instead by God, who created everything in existence. You see, I have never valued power, titles, or attention, in spite of all the wrong assumptions about me. I do not cling to those things because they are meaningless and empty traps that hold too many people in Washington. I believe in term limits and do not think Congress should be a lifelong career or an assisted living facility. My only goal and desire has ever been to hold the Republican Party accountable for the promises it makes to the American people and put America first. And I have fought against Democrats' damaging policies like the Green New Deal, wide open, deadly, unsafe border policies, and the trans agenda on children and against women. With that has brought years of nonstop, never-ending personal attacks, death threats, lawfare, ridiculous slander and lies about me that most people could never withstand even for a single day. It has been unfair and wrong, not only to me, but especially to my family, but it's been wrong to my district as well. I have too much self-respect and dignity. I love my family way too much, and I do not want my sweet district to have to endure a hurtful and hateful primary against me by the president that we all fought for, only to fight and win my election while Republicans will likely lose the midterms, and in turn be expected to defend the president against impeachment after he hatefully dumped tens of millions of dollars against me and tried to destroy me. It's all so absurd and completely unserious. I refuse to be a battered wife, hoping it all goes away and gets better. If I am cast aside by the president and the MAGA political machine and replaced by neocons, big pharma, big tech, military-industrial war complex, foreign leaders, and the elite donor class that can never ever relate to real Americans, then many common Americans have been cast aside and replaced as well. There is no plan to save the world or a 4D chess game being played. When common American people realize and understand that the political industrial complex of both parties is ripping this country apart, that not one elected leader like me is able to stop Washington's machine from gradually destroying our country, and instead the reality is that they, common Americans, the people, possess the real power over Washington, then I'll be here by their side to rebuild it. Until then, I'm going back to the people that I love, to live my life to the fullest as I always have, and I look forward to a new path ahead. I'll be resigning from office with my last day being January 5th, 2026, and I look forward to seeing many of you again sometime in the future.
Well, January 26th, or 20, January 5th, 2026. So immediately after she vests, because of 6 years, you get a pension. After 6 years, you get a pension. So she gets a pension. She wants to make sure she gets a pension. And yeah, I'm killing brain cells here. Me too. Yeah, take your millions and disappear. Finally, the point. Yeah. So no. So she's going to bail before she's not even going to, serve out the rest of her term. She's going to bail as soon as she gets paid, because that's all she's about. I mean, everybody, come on. She insider trading, the shit with the construction company, all the stuff. Yeah. Well. 5 years. I don't know. Whatever it is, she gets whatever the day, whatever it is. They said that the limit is whatever it is. So I don't know. You know, maybe if you serve one day into that 6th year, it counts. Something like that. There's probably some weird shit like that. Like, 5 year, once you've served that 6th year, you get the pension. It's probably something like that. Once you start the 6th year, you get the pension. So that one day gives it a pension. I don't know. We'll see. It's 5 years, yeah, but it's actually more than 5 years because it's like a day or two more. So that's what's going on with her. The Supreme Court will now make the final decision on whether the maps can be used, so that's a good thing. They're going to look at that. Decision on Texas maps is now before the Supreme Court, can ultimately decide which party holds control of the House of Representatives. Hey, Jay Wills, what's up, man? Yes, most of our reps are about themselves. Yeah, which wouldn't be the case if we had, a representative for every 50,000 citizens. The 3-judge panel ruled that they'd seen enough evidence to agree with the plaintiffs, except for the only judge that was an appellate judge was the one who wrote a scathing dissent saying that he disagreed like 15 or 20 times in there. While the federal court in El Paso handed a victory to plaintiffs, until the Supreme Court rules on the state's appeal, exactly who wins is up in the air. The opinion was very carefully crafted to withstand scrutiny of the current Supreme Court. Justice Brown, the district court judge from Galveston, who wrote the opinion, was extremely mindful that he's going to be reviewed. So we don't like explicit racial appeals in redistricting cases. This is not an explicit racial appeal. They specifically had to correct racial boundaries. That's why they did it. So just remember, Trump is siding with Graham over MTG. I don't know that he's siding with Graham so much as Graham is not going against him. MTG decided to go against him. That's the way I look. I don't know. I don't get it. I don't know why, Trump should have immediately, war is coming. Yeah, I agree. Well, ooh. Oh, here we go. Jay Will says a little towards Miss Bella's appearance. Thank you very much. And with that 5, we are now $59 away from the first additional hour and $34 away from Bellavision. Thank you very much. Trump's fully supporting Graham. Is he? I mean, somebody needs to primary Graham. I'm from the government and here to help. By the way, the check's in the mail and I won't come in your mouth. Yeah, that's what they always say. Thank you, Jay Wills. Yeah. I don't like Graham. Graham needs to go, man. Somebody needs to get Graham out of there, man. Out of there. He is no good. Out of there. Out of there, definitely. MTG, what's up, Star? How you doing? MTG's a trader. She only ran for Congress to do insider trading. That's what I say. Thanks, Jay. Well, we got another gifted membership for Member November from Brian Ogden. Thank you very much. Let's see who got that. It says Debbie Mezzi received a gifted membership from Brian Ogden. So thank you very, very much, Brian Ogden, for Member November. That's right, Member November. And with that, we are now $53 away from an extra hour and $28 away from Bellavision. Yes, thank you, Brian. Thank you very, very much. Thanks, Brian. So specifically, SOTUS is deciding whether or not to agree with the federal court ruling out of El Paso, technically called a preliminary injunction. The nation's high court could agree with this week's federal decision, meaning Texas can't use its new maps in next year's midterms and would have to revert to 2021. However, the court could also rule that the preliminary injunction putting the 2025 map into effect. Well, technically, if it just stays in place for long enough, they're going to have to use the 2025 map because they're going to start going, oh my God, look at this. We got another gifted membership from Brian Ogden. Thank you. Wow. And that goes to Dog Backwards, received a gifted membership from Brian Ogden. That's right. Dog Backwards received a gifted membership from Brian Ogden. Brian says, no, thank you. I say, no. Thank you, Brian. For Mo Member November. That puts us at $47 now away from the first additional hour. And $22 away from $22 away from Bellavision. Wow. Thanks again. Pesky already did. Yeah. MTG didn't make much more in the stock market as others. The stock market's just up like crazy. When the correction hits, it won't seem that bad. People are losing over nothing. I'm more upset with her about what she said when she went back on the whole, saying, "Oh, we need to keep the legal immigrants here that are working." And that working here. Paul Dan is trying to primary Lady Lindsay. Anyone who watched Predator Badlands that we're seeing in the movies, someone said they were going to see it. I'm trying to think who it was. Trying to think who said they were going to see it. Someone said they were going to see it. I can't remember who it was. I didn't hear back if it was good, if it was any good or not. So the two outcomes could be done the quickest. The urgency because Texas candidates for Congress are facing a December 8th filing deadline for next year's election. In cases like that of Rep. House Green, which map is in effect, could determine which district he could run in. And for Austin Congressman Lloyd Doggett, also a Democrat, could mean the difference between whether he runs for re-election or retires. MTG has a job lined up with MS Now or CNN. Well, actually, Meghan McCain said that, I could see who the next conservative on The View is going to be. Hey, Nix, what's up? How you doing? Yeah. MTG is going to be on The View. Yep. The Supreme Court could also issue an emergency order without explanation, often called a shadow docket. Another option would be take much longer. Would be the Supreme Court takes the full case on its own, something that could take months. Yeah. Finally, there's always Greg Abbott and Republicans that get around the courts, while unlikely. Abbott could technically call another special session on redistricting where he directs the legislature to pass an entirely new map, which in turn could be blocked again by the courts. So, I could see her on there. Oh, she was on. Remember, she was on there apologizing to them and saying she was sorry and all this stuff. And Julie Brown was the one who brought down Epstein and found 80 plus victims. And yes, there were as young as 14. They're constantly bringing up the 17 other ones, so to look it up. I've never heard of anything like that's what I'm saying. Like everyone I've heard was like 16, 17. That's what I'm saying. I've never heard any reporting on anyone who was 14. That's all I'm saying. Like even the girls, like the original thing when he got convicted for the stuff in Florida, the state charges was for 17-year-olds. So that's what I'm saying. Like I haven't seen any reporting on it. Oh, and then we got this. We had POTUS. POTUS has a lot of good moments, but this is an all-timer from J.D. Vance. See, Brian Ogden says nothing younger than 17. Some of those people that were there were like in their 20s when it happened, and they're saying that they were groomed and stuff like that. I don't know. I mean, so George says, Trump is funny. The reporter asked Mondami if he still stands by his comment saying Trump's a fascist. Before Mondami could answer, Trump said, that's okay. You can just say yes. It was easier than explaining it. The view it is, they made her an offer she can't refuse.
To Stephen Nelson, he asked about your comment calling the president a fascist, and your answer was, both President Trump and I have been clear about our positions and our views. Are you affirming that you think President Trump is a fascist?
I've spoken about...
That's okay, you can just say yes. Okay. It's easier. It's easier than explaining it. I don't mind.
And Mr. President, I wanted to ask you, to Stephen Nelson,
Jack Brsovic just grilled Zoran Mondami to his face for pushing high property taxes against white people. Brsovic, to be clear, you're continuing this idea of race-based property taxes? It's what you said. Yes, it is. All right, so let's see. This is... No.
is manageable to actually get through and not the cause of yet another wait that we see in our
To be
city.
clear, you're continuing this idea of race-based property taxes.
No, to be very clear,
what you said.
no, the use of the term was a description of neighborhoods, not a description of intent.
So you intend to tax the whiter neighborhoods more?
No, we intend to create a fair property tax system because we want a New York City that is not only fair and equitable, but also one that every New Yorker can afford. Is manageable to actually get through and not the cause of yet another.
Here's Mandami. He's talking about working people have been left behind in New York. It's time to put those people back. And so let's see what he's got to say.
And what we found time and again is that working people were left behind in the politics of our city. And what we're looking to do is put those people right back at the heart of our politics so that we don't have a situation where we're in the wealthiest city in the history of the world, and yet 1 in 5 can't even afford $2.90 for a Metro card. And what we found time and again is that
$2.90 for a Metro card. Really? This Trump gives warm welcome to Zoran the commie. Amateur snake oil. The bar is so low now. Yeah. Positioning of this is so Trump. Yeah. Trump iOS like you are a fool. Deport them if they can't pay the $3. We're going to help people make everybody's dreams come true. Can't make everybody's dreams come true. If you make everybody's dreams come true, then that. Trump gave a warm greeting to the incoming mayor, Kami Mandami, at the White House on Friday, praising his electoral victory in the first in-person meeting for the political opposites who've clashed over everything from immigration to economic policy. Renee says transcripts from Maxwell's trial say 14, but younger victims have sued civilly. I'm gonna have to look into it. Whatever, man, they're gonna block this out. All right. Trump and Mandami pledge cooperation on affordability and fighting crime. My dream is that scumbags stop dreaming. Yeah, exploding RE prices outside of the city right now. Trump is playing the long game. All right. Just because this came up, so I'm gonna talk about this. And even though I didn't want to talk about Epstein really at all today, but we're going to talk about this real quick, just because. So I asked, the AI, because I said ages of Epstein's victims, and it says Jeffrey Epstein's victims included girls as young as 11 now. So this says 11, and many others are being teenagers around 14 to 17. Abuse occurred over many years, affecting hundreds of young women and girls. So I said, what victims were under 17? Numerous individuals under the age of 17. Here are key details. It says age range. Victims include girls as young as 11, and the majority were teenagers. A specific case, Ann Farmer, she reported being brought to Epstein's home at age 16. A girl testified she was approached when she was 17, and police documentation indicates some victims were as young as 14. Victims often report being paid to recruit other girls. For example, one victim said she brought over a 14-year-old girl. That would be like a serious addition. Like a serious accusation that would have been way more serious than the chart. Like, I can't imagine that he would have got the deal he got in the 90s off of those people if it was 14. That's all. I mean, I would think he would have got 30 years in prison. I just don't. I see a lot of. I don't see there should be a victim that says I was, this person at this age. I don't see that. I see, reports indicate, or this, when you got a girl saying she brought somebody 14 over there. Well, that girl that brought the 14-year-old should be going to jail too for trafficking, right? I don't know. I don't even like talking about this stuff. People get pissy. Trump offers praise for Rational Mandami in remarkable White House meeting. President Trump on Friday offered praise to New York City Mayor-elect Mandami after what he called a productive meeting. Epstein op is working overtime now. It's all a cover for banker crimes. Probably. So that's hearsay and inadmissible evidence. But I mean, that's what I'm saying. Like, I asked specifically what victims, and it's like, well, this girl said she went there when she was 16. Okay, that's under 17. That's 16. That's fucked up. Definitely. And this other one says, I brought a 14-year-old over there. Well, then shouldn't that girl be in trouble if she brought it sounds like she committed a crime too. I don't know. Hey, what's up, Eastwood Farms? Trump had Friday offered praise for Mandami. And after what the two call productive meeting. So we'll see. Maybe they're going to, who knows? Maybe Trump's going to be a socialist now. Now you have the who in your head. Yeah. Baba O'Reilly. And this CNN says, Trump and Mandami bond over affordability issues, love of New York, and winning in collegial Oval Office meeting. Wow. So they bonded. Wow. They bonded. That's interesting. They bonded. Kind of statement is that? They bonded. That's kind of weird. He should have gotten more than 30 years. He definitely had some pull. Yeah. No, he should have, even if it was just 17-year-olds and 16-year-olds, he still should have done serious time. But the thing I'm saying, I don't, there was a lot of weird stuff that happened in the Maxwell trial too. A lot of testimony that shouldn't have came in because it didn't have anything to do with the people that were actually testifying. They were testifying about other people. My great grandma gave birth to my grandpa at 14. Oh, that's interesting. So Mandami was pressed on Friday whether he believes Trump's a fascist. And he said, that's okay. Look, we saw that. The interaction was nearly unthinkable in the lead up to the meeting. And the MAGA movement is self-described socialist. He's not a self-described democratic socialist. He's a fucking socialist. He's a member. He's a fucking communist. Come on. Epstein had lots more than Diddy. Oh, definitely. Sam Bankman-Fried. Virginia was a victim and charged with recruiting new girls. She wasn't the only one to be charged with that. Read all the court documents at Gavia's website. The info was always out there. When was Virginia charged with something? And you're talking about in the first time he was charged, she was charged with something? During the campaign, the president urged voters to back Cuomo. Yeah, anyone who says they need to seize the means of production is more than a socialist. Epstein and Mossad, probably. Nami said he's not a communist, but seizing the means of production is a communist thing. I know a man who had 5 victims. He's still in prison almost 30 years, so 5 victims, 30 years. Epstein had 80. And my state was a poor white guy. Well, I think, honestly, I don't even want to. I think a lot of the reasoning why he got out of, it was because I don't know if some of the victims that at the time the people in power didn't really consider those people to be victims. They were victims, but whoever they thought, oh, those are some girl, 16, 17-year-old girls from the wrong side of the tracks. Nah, they knew what they were doing. That's what I think the people thought at that time, and it's fucked up that they did. But I don't have the authority to do anything about it. It's straight from the Communist Manifesto. Yeah, it is. You're saying that Virginia Giuffre was charged in the Maxwell case? I thought she testified against Maxwell. Their post-meeting press engagement underscored that both Trump and Adami recognized the political utility of each other's strengths within the city of New York. Trump signaled respect for his overwhelming victory. He won more than 50% of the vote. A Fox News poll released this week, so 76% of voters have a negative view of the economy. It's also in Adami's best interest to have a working relationship with the White House. All right. And then at the same day that this happened, this was interesting. The House resolution condemning socialism splits the Democrats ahead of Zoran Mandami's Trump meeting. The Communist Manifesto isn't long. It shouldn't take you more than an hour or so to read it. House resolution passes a resolution condemning the horrors of socialism. Why couldn't they get
our colleagues on the other side of the aisle? Socialism is communism light. Socialism is the first step to communism. Socialism is the antithesis of the American dream. Because in this country, we believe that regardless of where you come from or how you started, if you work hard, if you sacrifice, if you play by the rules, you can succeed. And that only happens in a country where you have freedom, where you have liberty, where you have self-determination, and you have the free market.
Oh. I don't know why the people haven't shoved the QAnon slur back down the corporal media's mouth. Yeah. Freedom. Thank you, Brian Ogden, for another gifted membership. This one goes to Sweet Tooth, received a gifted membership. Sweet Tooth received a gifted membership from Brian Ogden. Thank you very much. Wow. With that, folks, we are now $41 away from the first additional hour and $16 away from Bellavision. What is taking so long here? So yeah, the House passed a resolution denouncing the horrors of socialism on Friday. To get out of the Maxwell case, they all made an agreement to testify, and the women went and signed NDAs and got paid, get popcorn. You'll see soon. Okay. Yeah. Thank you, Brian. Yeah, personally, I'm torn about the Maxwell case because I think if the government made a deal not to prosecute people and then go back on it, that's exactly why Bill Cosby, if you remember, Bill Cosby got let out because they said, wait a minute, you made a deal with him that you weren't going to prosecute him if you went and did this. That's exactly what happened with, Maxwell case. There was a deal made with Epstein, all this other stuff. Kind of seems like the same thing. And it's the fact that either of them would have been let out, but the government made the deal. The government should be forced to live with the deal. If you let the government kind of go back on deals like that, then what happens when they start doing it for other petty little other things like, you make a deal with them like, okay, I was speeding and Okay, I'll pay you the $100. And they go, well, and then you give them the 100, and then they come back. Well, no, you know what? Now we want 200. You know, I mean, I know that sounds ridiculous, but that's, you know, the deals are supposed to be the deals. You know, we are the government, Jim. I know, but I'm saying, you know, all the no votes came from Democrats, two of whom, Janelle Bynum of Oregon and Deborah Ross, also voted present. Congress denounces socialism in all its forms and opposes the implementation of socialist policies in the United States. Well, it's in the Constitution that we're supposed to have a Republican form of government, not socialism. Salazar's parents fled from Cuba following the takeover of dictator Fidel Castro. Madam Waters, for decades, you traveled to Cuba dozens of times to visit Fidel Castro personally, whom you consider your friend. Salazar said on the House floor, we're debating the resolution with Representative Maxine Waters. Wow. Wow. Another gifted membership. Thank you, Brian Ogden. Let's see who got this one. This one went to Tommy Two Guns. Digital Saints received a gifted membership. Tommy Two Guns. Last of the Mohicans. Love you, people. Congrats. Yes, thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Wow. And with that, my friends, we are now $35 away and $10 away. So $35 away from $35 away from an additional hour and only $10 away from Bellavision. Wow. Thank you very much. And it says, see you next Tuesday is a small furry animal. And I'm Irish. My family uses the word frequently. Okay. Thanks again, Brian. Yes, yes. Mm-hmm. Congresswoman Waters was in Havana and she saw the destruction of biblical proportions that Castro caused on the island. Salazar went on. Madam Waters knew that thousands and thousands of Cubans were escaping on a raft, exposing their lives and their children to be eaten by sharks. She knew that Afro-Cubans were being beaten in the streets. Madam Waters knew the Cuban jails were full of political prisoners. Object, Waters responded. I moved to take her words down. Oh, Richard Parker comes in with a gifted membership. Thank you. Thank you very much. Let's see who got that one. We got Justice Jane, 24. Justice Jane received a gifted membership from Richard Parker. Thank you so much, Richard. Thank you so much. And with that, folks, we are now just $29 away from the first additional hour, and we are only $4 away from Bellavision. Just $4. Just $4 away from Bellavision. That's crazy. That's nuts. That's insane. $4. Four whole dollars away from Bellavision. Dick doing it. That's right. Getting it done. Thank you, Richard. Just took a sleeping pill. Got an hour till shutdown. That's right. Congrats, Justice Jane. I heard Karen Bass, the wildfire mayor, was also involved in the Cuba. Yes, they used to go to Cuba and participate. There's also was a bunch of stuff going on with the Antifa people going to Cuba and just the last May Day event, everything to, well, you know, as they say, participate in the whole Cuban fuffles. Steve Hilliard says, wake Bella up and have her get loosened up. I don't want her to pull a hamstring. Well, she'll be fine. I can tell you, she'll be fine. She's not going anywhere. She'll be right there waiting. Salazar voluntarily withdrew her remarks. Representative Robert Menendez, the son of incarcerated former Senator Bob Menendez, whose parents fled Cuba before Castro took power, was one of the Democrats who voted against the resolution. House Republicans are wasting valuable time pursuing a resolution about socialism instead of tackling the affordability crisis America's facing. Oh, well, they could have. Americans would have been affordable if his dad would have gave out some of that gold he had in his house. I wonder about the Somali connection. Yes, I do too. Oh, cha-ching, 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 bring on the dog. Thank you. Oh, she's gone. She left. She don't leave. Thank you. Thank you so much. And with that, folks, we are at Bellavision, and that puts us at $24 away from the first additional hour. Bella, Bella. I got to fix the camera. Just give me a second here. Oh, do this. Fix my camera. There we go. There's Bella. And do this. Come this way. See if I flip the mirror, the thing. There we go. There she is. Miss Bellikins. All right. Need more cowbell. She doesn't look loosened up to you. Well, she's fine. You just saw her. She's chilling. Further, they've been absolutely silent as President Trump strips legal protections from those taking refuge here. Oh, so we can't be opposed to communism and socialism unless we let them all come here? Is that the rules? That's not the rules. Republicans are not serious. Oh, I'm serious. We don't want them here. Some members of Congress who endorsed Mandami are proud socialists, including Bernie Sanders and Ocasio-Cortez, who also voted no, along with all the members of the far-left squad. House Speaker Emerita Nancy Pelosi was also a no vote, along with AOC's fellow city lawmakers Yvette Clarke, Adriano Esmalata, and Daniel Goldman. The vote took place shortly after Mandami touched down at Reagan Airport. The 34-year-old expressed desire to speak plainly to the Republican president about how to make New York City more affordable. You hate that bell? Oh, I'm sorry. You won't have to hear it at all anymore tonight because we have Bella's already activated. Bella looks nervous. Yeah, she's very nervous. Trump previously threatened to cut the city's funding if my little communist was elected. On Friday, however, the president told Fox News that he expected the meeting to be quite civil. I think we'll get along fine. I need better sound effects. Oh, I don't know. Oh shit, they're coming to get me. I have my many disagreements with the president. I believe we should be relentless to pursue all avenues and all means that can make our city affordable, said Mandami. Friday's vote further underscores divisions within the Democrat Party that surfaced during the mayoral race, with House Leader Dollar Store Timu Obama Jeffries officially endorsing Mandama, but voting in favor of the House GOP resolution. Oh, he looks exactly, look at that. Doesn't he kind of look like Stalin with that coat buttoned up like that? Stalin used to wear the coats like that, the wool pea coats like that. Just saying. Chuck Schumer didn't offer his endorsement, nor did he indicate which way he voted in the election. It's the air cab from Apocalypse Now. Let me educate our colleagues on the other side of the aisle. Socialism is communism light. It's just basically socialism is the core of communism. It's socialism. It's at their core. Yes, you did. You sent me sound effects, but I can't get it to work. I can't, for whatever reason. I plugged in that drive and nothing, I couldn't read it. Mal Tanaukas noted that her mother fled Cuba in 1959 to avoid the very things that our new socialist mayor says he wants. A socialist who says he wants to seize the means of production, he wants to abolish private property, he wants government-run supermarkets. That's called a communist. But guess what, my friends? Those are policies straight out of the communist playbook of Karl Marx. So there's no difference between socialism and communism. I need to eagle screech. Yeah, oh my God, eagle screech. Maybe MP4s. I'm gonna try it, and I'm gonna try it in my in an Apple, and see something. But anyway, Mel Tanaukas and other members also called the most recent failures of socialism in Venezuela. Oh, holy shit, Wizard of Oz is actually, it's WAV files. It should work. I don't know. It's just I'm not seeing when I plug it in. It's just says you can't access the files. So I don't know. The resolution text cited how socialist regimes has historically collapsed into communist regimes, totalitarian rule, and brutal dictatorships, including those of Russia's Vladimir Lenin and Joseph Stalin, China's Mao Zedong, Cuba's Fidel Castro, has led to famine and mass murders. It says in North Korea, for example, the resolution noted that as many as 3.5 million people have starved under the rule of strongman Kim Jong-un. 10 million were sent to the gulags in the United Union of Soviet Socialist Republics. He's right there, socialist in the name, see? Right there, Soviet Socialist Republics. And it's kind of like the Nazis were the National Socialists. Saying. 15 million and 55 million people starved to death. in the famine and devastation caused by the Great Leap Forward in China. China. Share a G drive folder, Snarf Magoo. I have a G drive. Oh, a Google Drive folder. I understand what you're saying. A Google Drive folder. You got the files. I'm gonna work on it. I just couldn't get it to open. I don't know. Maybe I did something wrong. I never thought of The Wizard of Oz to be a holiday movie. They always play The Wizard of Oz around Thanksgiving, don't they? I thought it's like a Thanksgiving movie, Wizard of Oz, isn't it? I think he's talking about a Google Drive folder. Like you open up like a free Google Drive, and you put it on a Google Drive, and then anyone can access it from Google Drive. Anyway, so that's that story. And Fox News just has it as 86 Dems vote with Republicans to condemn socialism in the wake of Mandami's mayoral victory. It came out originally at Christmas. Get Audacity. Well, the audacity of it is just, I use something called JRiver for all my audio files. You hate Google? Yep, usually Thanksgiving Day. That's what I thought. You hate Google. Maybe tornado and dogs, maybe.
It's Recreational Warehouse by Watson's.
No, whatever. So the House of Representatives overwhelmingly voted in favor of a resolution condemning socialism. Well, good for them. And this was crazy. This was a story I saw, and I was like, oh man. So there was some protests at a synagogue in New York, and Mandami attacked the synagogue for being protested and told them that international law trumps your First Amendment inside a synagogue. That's what Mandami said. This guy with his international law. Can you imagine if we had the Yellow Brick Road? People make it complex. Yeah. A couple of nights ago, protesters stood outside a Jewish synagogue shouting "Globalized Intifada," which is basically a rallying cry to kill Jewish people. Also a call against Israel remaining a safe place for Jewish people to live in the Middle East. Mandami spokesman tells me the mayor-elect has discouraged the language used in last night's protest and will continue to do so in response to demonstrators outside of the Park East Synagogue who chanted death to the IDF and globalized Intifada. He discouraged the language. Let's see what it says. He discouraged the language. New Yorkers should be free to enter a house of worship without intimidation, and those sacred spaces should not be used to promote activities in violation of international law. They said the synagogue was promoting activities in violation of international law. As to clarify, Mandami's team said it was specifically in reference to organization promoting of settlement activity, which violates international law. So this guy, Mandami, oh, look at these. End Israel, answer within our lifetime. Nadreen Kiswani, Zora Mandami. Oh, look at, there they are. They're all there. Neville Singham's Answer Coalition. Wow, what do you know? Oh, I wasn't sharing this. Sorry. Yeah, so there he is. There's Mandami and the people protesting. You can't wait for New York to be a full shit show. I'm glad I'm nowhere close. I just want to know that Fort Knox is empty. I'd like to know what's in Fort Knox. If it's not empty or whatever, I have a feeling it's empty personally. But yeah, so someone should tell Mandami Americans don't worry about that. Yeah, international law. The organization can promote whatever it wants. America's the First Amendment. International law can stick it. Why is he mentioning international law? That's a good question. And I'm glad to hear the mayor condemns the persistent use of Hamas to support Hamas, and I hope he follows through on it. Yeah, be interesting to see. For some reason, he hasn't made a peep about the violation of international law. It looks like they're blocking arresting those entering a church, which is illegal. Looks like protesters are actually breaking American law, which is an actual problem. According to Mandami, random migrants and criminal illegals entering the U.S. must be protected, but Jews immigrating to their ancestral land is a violation of international law. I don't know. It's almost like he's a hypocrite. International law line is quite disturbing. All right. It says Mondami condemns protest language, but says synagogue shouldn't promote activities in violation of international law. You don't think New York will go crazy? Maybe. Me to TOG. I don't know what that means. Me to TOG. Good night, kids. Fading. Steve is the best for the dollar for sure. Good night, SB Farmer. Mm-hmm. New York City is an international city because it hosts NATO. Therefore, he thinks he can CA endorse international law and not U.S. law. He can endorse it. Okay, I see. He can endorse international law. He's going to find out the hard way that that's not how the world works. Well, Zohar Madami, he's actually like these people protesting outside the synagogue. I think like there's a law that they passed, Congress passed about protesting outside of churches and synagogues and abortion clinics. They wrapped it all together, and Biden was arresting people who were praying outside of abortion clinics, like and throwing a book at them. Like Trump had to pardon some people because of it that Biden arrested. So like all these people who are protesting out the synagogue, I think they broke that same law. So maybe they should all be arrested. Maybe, I don't know. Just saying. Will our stash of $32 an ounce gold keep up with inflation? If you had holy shit, if you had $32 an ounce gold, you would be a very rich man. 10 ounces, you'd have, almost $300,000 for 10 ounces. No, not 300,000. What am I saying? 30,000. Their tax base will leave and the shit show begins. He's dissing himself from extreme rhetoric while also claiming that the synagogue violates international law. So we'll see him and his international law. I don't know. What's it called? The National Review says the synagogue siege is a taste of Manami's New York. New York, New York, New York, New York. No settlers on stolen land. That's how the anti-Zionist organization rallied its supporters to protest what it calls settler recruiting fair. Settler recruiting fair. That sounds cool. Settlers. You think Trump told them that New York doesn't play? In reality, what the anti-Zionists worked themselves up to the lather was a partnership between the House of Worship and Nefresh be Nefresh. Oh, is that like a rapper? Nefresh being Nefresh? He's fresh, being Nefresh, an organization that helps American Jews who want to immigrate to Israel work out the logistics. Maybe the agitators surrounding the synagogue, harassing and intimidating American Jews inside it, are too thick-headed to make any distinction between Israeli settlements in the West Bank and Israel proper. National Review, subscribe now. Oh, we got this story. Breaking news. It turns out that not only did Biden spy on the senators, he also spied on Jim Jordan.
Back in 2022, the Biden Justice Department subpoenaed Jim Jordan's phone records dating all the way back to 2020. Congressman Jim Jordan joins me now. That's outrageous. Do you know why they tapped your phone, Jim?
Well, it's interesting. It's part of this Arctic Frost investigation, but they went all the way back to January of 2020. I mean, that was a year before January 6th. That was a year before the election, for goodness sake. But for 2.5 years, Stuart, we knew they spied on President Trump. We had learned here in the last several weeks that it was, senators and some other members. But this was for 2.5 years. Every call you make, who you call, who calls you, how long the call lasts, where you're at when you make the call. For 2.5 years. I mean, that on the top Republican on the Judiciary Committee, a separate and equal branch of government. And in the subpoena, it said, well, we're going to tell the carrier, you can't tell the customer, in this case me, you can't tell the customer because he might be a flight risk. He might tamper with, are they, it was so ridiculous. And this whole thing has been ridiculous. And frankly, it's why we're going to bring Jack Smith in for a deposition.
Yeah. What can he do about it? I mean,
well, what you should do is do something and bring people in, like Chattel says. So fucking do something, Jim Jordan. Yeah, like maybe bring in. Maybe you should ask the that Congresswoman, Goodlatte, whatever her name is, that's married to Jake Sullivan, because she was Merrick Garland's clerk when he was on the D.C. circuit. Yeah. When Merrick Garland was in D.C. Court of Appeals or whatever he was at D.C. Court, that Congresswoman lady who's, that came out and said all that stuff about, illegal orders and all that stuff. Yeah, she clerked for Merrick Garland. Yeah. It's all interconnected. They're all fucking interconnected. You can see a younger Trump becoming mayor. Maybe. If Zoran fails, Trump will swoop in to save the day. Wasn't like half of Madami voters born outside the U.S.? Yes. Yes. It's crazy. It's crazy. It's crazy.
That is outrageous that for 2.5 years they tapped your phone. You're the chair of the House Judiciary Committee. That is outrageous. Who's going to pay the price for this?
Well, understand they didn't tap, but they got all the records. They got all your text messages, not the contents, but every time you text someone, every time someone texts you, every time you call someone, every time they call you, how long the call is, where you're at when you do the call, what time of day you make the call, how frequently they got all that information. So, look, we've already referred Thomas Wyndham, one of Jack Smith's top deputies on his investigation, for obstructing Congress when we deposed him, and he was the guy behind taking the phone, actually taking the physical phone of another member of Congress, my colleague Scott Perry, Army general, 14 years in the Congress. They took his phone, and the week before they took his phone, they spied on him for a week because we got that document. And it says, we want to know where he works, as if they didn't know here at the United States Congress, where he lives. We want to know his daily patterns. We want photos of his vehicle and his house. They did all that to a member of Congress and then actually physically took his phone. That's what these guys were up to. And I want to know if Garland signed off on this. I want to know if Chris Wray signed off on this, Lisa Monaco. How did this happen where all these things take place with, again, a separate and equal branch of government going after Republicans, including the Speaker of the House, frankly?
Yeah, that's just simply outrageous. But I am going to move on to another subject, and I'm sure you've got strong feelings on this one, too. In just under an hour, the House is set to vote on a bill that condemns socialism. The vote comes right around the time when Mandami visits Trump at the White House. Jim, I think this vote really puts the Democrats on the spot.
Sure
Do
does.
they or don't they condemn socialism?
Yeah, we'll see. My guess is several of them will vote not to condemn this. But you're going to see every Republican, of course, vote for this. We know it doesn't work. I was relating this to a colleague the other day. About 37 years ago, I guess, 38 years ago, I was competing in what was then still the Soviet Union. And I remember you go to places that you go to a store in the Soviet Union, there was nothing on the shelves. You walk in, you're like, compared to, I was like, that's what happens when you don't have free markets, you don't have freedom, you don't have the rule of law, you don't have private property. That's what happens in those kind of systems. And this is what Mamdani.
We've had these experiments in the U.S. There was other cities that tried it, and it was the exact same way. Empty stores, rotten stuff, rats everywhere.
Wants to bring to our largest and greatest city, New York, makes no sense. But we'll see how they vote here in about an hour.
I've probably been making myself rather unpopular here, but I want the president to confront Mandami and not give him any money, so he doesn't have taxpayer money to ruin this great city. Where do you stand on that?
Well, the president's never been afraid to confront people in the Oval Office. We've seen example after example that President Trump's a guy who knows what he believes and is going to go do what he told the people he was going to do. That's why we've had this amazing 9-month run, 10-month run with under his leadership. So I wouldn't be surprised if he does. We'll see how that meeting goes as well.
I hope it's out in the public. I'd just love to see that. Jim Jordan, always a pleasure. Thanks for being with us, Jim. We'll see you again soon.
Stuart.
Yes,
Thank
sir.
you.
Thanks.
Yeah, Lincoln was the tallest president, standing at 6'4". Lyndon Johnson was the second tallest president at 6'3.5". Trump is next is Trump at 6'3". So. If you were wondering, it's right there. Abraham Lincoln was 6'4". So if Barron Trump was elected, I think Barron Trump is 6'7", 6'8", something like that. So he would definitely be the tallest president. A vote to condemn socialism pisses me off. A vote for a vote. A vote for something. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Abraham Lincoln's the tallest president. And so there we go. The weaponization of the DOJ against GOP lawmakers was worse than we thought. It was worse than we thought. Andre the Giant was much taller. Yes, Andre the Giant was much taller. Yes, he was. New disturbing revelations. How tall was JFK? Wasn't in the top. He wasn't in the top 9. So he was less than. JFK was 6'1". So he's the same height as Andrew Jackson, Ronald Reagan, Barack Obama. Oh, so basically that other list was all screwy. That other list was fucked up because they had Barack Obama as 9th when you have all these people that were the same height. You got George Washington with 6. Here we go. This is better. There we go. Presidential heights. All right. Fuck it. Was that before or after he was shot? I think after he was shot, he was taller because that flap on his head went up. Yeah, Lincoln was number 1 at 6'4", then Johnson, and then you got the 45th and 47th president is number 3. It's Trump. Then Thomas Jefferson was 6'2.5", and then you got George Washington, Chester A. Arthur, Franklin D. Roosevelt, which that's not true. Franklin D. Roosevelt was really short. He was in that wheelchair. Yeah. Oh shit! All the presidents were 6'6" Chads. Yeah, 6'2". George Bush, George H.W. Bush was 6'2". Bill Clinton was 6'2". Andrew Jackson was 6'1". John F. Kennedy 6'1". Reagan, Obama 6'1". You got Monroe, Tyler, Buchanan, Warren G. Harding, and Gerald Ford all 6 foot. You got Taft, Hoover, Nixon, George W. Bush, and Joe Biden all 5'11.5". Grover Cleveland is 5'11". Wilson, Eisenhower was only 5'10.5". You got all these people that are 5'10". Jimmy Carter was 5'9.5". Millard Fillmore 5'9". Wow, you got James Madison was 5'4". Wow, James Madison was a tiny little bugger. Wow. Saul Tall. Mm-hmm. Bullshit. I think a lot of these maybe were lying about their heights. I'm just going to say it. Yeah, so new disturbing revelations as Justice Department secretly seized more than 2 years of House Judiciary Chairman's phone records. Imagine Ross Perot. I think Ross Perot was 5'6" or something, right? 5'5". He wasn't, I don't think he was 5'4". It's almost like these people are cast for stage presence and appearance. Almost. For some reason, I thought Biden was taller than 5'11". Mm-hmm. Subpoena shows a federal prosecutor who later joined Jack Smith's January 6th team ordered Verizon to cough up Jordan's records dating back to January 1st, 2020. Madison was 5'6", bullied Jefferson into the Louisiana Purchase and brought Manifest Destiny. That said Madison was 5'4". According to this, it says Madison was 5'4". No presidents were 5'5". Just we have 5'4", then it goes to 5'6", 5'7", 5'8", 5'9". There's only 2 5'9", Harry Truman and Fillmore. Wow. Oh, well. The request appears to be the most expansive yet of publicly known subpoenas targeting senators and current and former House members. Wow. Biden claimed he was 6 foot. According to that, he was 5'11" and a half. So they must actually, maybe they actually like take measurements or something. I don't know. So, Wow. I don't know. Bad day. They are tall and could kick some butt. Maybe. I don't know. I mean, something maybe. I don't know. So, subpoena for Jordan's records didn't appear to be one of the first known ones in Arctic frost and was issued during a time when Jordan was serving as the top Republican on the Judiciary Committee, which conducts oversight of the DOJ. His role at the time is illustrative of Republican sharp criticism of Arctic frost as they claim the request for Congress members' phone records breached the separation of powers. Clint Eastwood is tall, yeah. Nephilim. Pathological liar. Who is? Oh, Biden, yeah. Toll records did not include the contents of the phone calls. Well, no, how would they have the contents of the phone calls unless they were like wiretapping them? Verizon handed over records that were demanded, adding another layer to growing concern in the department's reach. Verizon issued a statement saying it's working closely with both the House and Senate to gather all relevant information regarding the shady subpoenas. Oh, Ellen, 5 F you, Jim. I'm 5'4" and I've dropped a 6 foot black man with 100 pounds on me in one punch. Not the size of the dog in a fight, it's the size of the fight in a dog. I was not. Oh my God. Ooh. I said Ross Perot wasn't that short. That's all I said. I didn't think. Technically, I don't think 5'4" is considered like. I don't think that's considered like a midget or anything like that, right? I think 5'4" is just considered like average, downright average in like North Korea. Biden looked taller. Well, that was the fake Biden. That was the fake Biden. It was taller. It was the actor, this stand-in that was 6'2". I'm not mad, just making it funny. Okay, I can never tell. I started the fight. Let me have it. The sweep started earlier with Rep. Kevin McCarthy. At least 10 GOP senators also landed on the list, including Lindsey Graham. Yeah, I heard Lindsey Graham, which that's the thing I want to find out. Lindsey Graham, I heard, like, basically rolled over on Trump and basically tried to throw Trump under the bus when he was at the grand jury in Atlanta or whatever. I'd like to see it. I was at PJ training with a 5'4" guy, and he was the best in the pool. You had pajama parties? You guys were doing pajama parties? I know it's a parajumper. I'm just fucking around. Biden's weaponization is a dark stain on American democracy. I agree. Hey, we've been going almost 2 hours now. 1 hour and 55 minutes we've been going. I want to thank everybody who's been here. Please, if you haven't already, please hit the like button. The like button. If you haven't, please hit the like button. Please hit the like button. And if you want, hit like and subscribe to the channel. Of course, they had pajama parties. He was in the Air Force. Did they have the pillow fights? Yeah. It's a dark stain. House Judiciary Committee Chairman reveals that Biden secretly subpoenaed his phone records. They spied on me. House Judiciary Chairman Jordan's the latest Republican whose records were spied on. If you stay more than 5 minutes, you'll like it. Okay. All the Marble says Brian Ogden's got his own private jet. Oof. That's how he rolls. He's like, here, smell my finger, which is weird that he would say that. Oh, here we go. So, and then I don't know if you guys heard, but Trump has like his big plan for a peace in Ukraine. He's got a big plan, and part of that plan is maximum pressure on Ukraine. It says, I wanted combat control, but ended up there in the long run. Okay. U.S. threatens to cut intelligence sharing and weapon supply if Ukraine rejects the peace deal. Womp, womp, womp. YouTube is shortchanging you, Jim? I don't know what that means. Why YouTube? This like button nonsense. I don't get it. I don't know. Oh, yeah, I forgot. So, yeah, hit the like and subscribe and all that stuff. And we got about another half hour to go unless we get the additional monies. We got it says 45 minutes on the goal. So we got 45 minutes to go. I must have started it late. We have 45 minutes to go to hit the $28 or whatever it is to our 20-something dollars, whatever it is. We are currently $24 away from an extra hour. I must have started that late. I screwed up. Anyway, but and so look, and Zelensky's not happy about it. He's like, "Oh no." Trump's team has told Zelensky what's what. A flurry of activity and multiple consequential reports are popping up after a new peace plan for Ukraine was unveiled. Politico saying that Zelensky is now a lame duck president. Ukrainian UN ambassador Katyana Gayovichin expressed disagreement with several points of the plan. Look at that name, Gayovichin. Gayovision. Brian says, I'm tapped, people, so y'all can rally the troops. Yeah, you've done enough tonight, Brian. You've done enough. That'll do, Brian. That'll do. I was going to say that'll do pig from that movie. What was it called? What the fuck was that movie called? Oh, man, it's a good movie with the pig and the guy with the glass. The old white dude just trains the pig to do things. It was at a dog rally thing. It was a pig. What the hell? Babe. Babe was the movie. It was a good movie. That'll do, pig. That'll do. The YouTube plantation. Babe, yeah, Babe. Simo, a.k.a. the White Death, the Finnish sniper, was 5'3". Yes, babe, 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 babe. After a phone call with J.D. Vance, Zelensky says he will not betray Ukraine. We'll see. The main developments undoubtedly report that the U.S. has threatened to cut intelligence and weapon supplies if it doesn't agree to the framework of the peace deal. Sources speaking on the condition of anonymity said that Kiev was under great pressure from Washington, and during any previous peace discussions that the U.S. wanted Ukraine to sign a framework of the deal by next Thursday. They want to stop the war, and they want Ukraine to pay the price. Yeah. That ship has long sailed. U.S. pushing Ukraine to sign a 28-point peace deal with multiple red lines for Ukraine by Thanksgiving, or B, it will lose U.S. intelligence and access to U.S. weapons. The 28-point plan acknowledged the fact that Russia is winning the war, and it's not even close. So provides that Kiev must cede the rest of Donetsk, curb the size of its military, and abandon any idea of joining NATO. And they could have made this deal 2 years ago. A delegation of senior U.S. military officials met with Volodymyr Zelensky and Kyiv on Thursday to discuss a path to peace. The U.S. ambassador in Ukraine and the Army Public Affairs chief traveled with the delegation, describing the meeting as a success, and said Washington sought an aggressive timeline for a signature of a document between U.S. and Ukraine. It was not found. Dictator Zelensky has addressed the Ukrainian people and basically accepted defeat. He essentially admits Ukraine has no option but to agree to the terms of the Russia-U.S. deal. Trump gave him a year of rope. Almost. It's time. Yes. Each time. He, under British instruction, rejected a far better deal for Ukraine in 2022. Yes. You don't have any cards. I'm not playing cards. Well, you lost. They made the deal 50 plus years ago. Globalists decided differently. Because Trump warns Ukraine will lose in a short period of time if it doesn't sign a peace deal.
President Zelensky said, he's looking to look at the plan that there's been reports about the Trump administration proposing a plan. Can you just give an update on where Russia-Ukraine stands, and does the president plan to speak with Zelensky anytime soon, or when can you expect that?
So I'm happy to provide an update. I've seen quite a bit of reporting on the latest with Russia-Ukraine, so let me clarify and give you guys the truth on where it currently stands. President Trump has made it very clear since day one, and even on the campaign trail, that he wants to see this war come to an end. He has grown increasingly frustrated with both sides of this war, Russia and Ukraine alike, for their refusal to commit to a peace agreement. But nevertheless, the president and his national security team are steadfast in seeing this war come to an end, to end the killing and deliver on the president's promise. Special Envoy Witkoff, Marco Rubio, have been working on a plan quietly for about the last month. They've been engaging with both sides, Russia and Ukraine, equally to understand what these countries would commit to in order to see a lasting and durable peace. That's how you get to a peace negotiation, right? That's how it worked with Israel, with respect to Israel and Gaza and all of the Arab countries in the Middle East. That's how we accomplished that historic agreement, which the UN, by the way, voted to commit to and accept this week, which was a huge monumental moment. So they have been engaged with both sides, and these talks are continuing. As always, I'm not going to litigate the details of this plan as it's ongoing and it's in flux, but the president supports this plan. It's a good plan for both Russia and Ukraine, and we believe that it should be acceptable to both sides, and we're working very hard to get it done. And I'll also add, I know Secretary Driscoll did meet with President Zelensky today. We spoke with him. He was very optimistic following that meeting, and so again, we are having good conversations with both sides with respect to ending this war.
Caroline?
Sure. Go ahead.
Follow up on Ukraine. You said this is a good plan. So according to our sources, this proposal demands major concessions from Ukraine and doesn't demand much from Russia. So was Russia involved in drafting
Your
this?
understanding is wrong. Have you read the full plan? You haven't.
Sources say.
Yes.
So if you can give details, maybe.
You've read reporting from one side of the war, and so I want you to understand that the administration has talked equally with both sides. You have seen President Trump engage directly with both President Putin and President Zelensky. Likewise, his national security team has as well. In fact, Special Envoy Witkoff and Secretary Rubio met with some of the Ukrainians just in the past week to discuss this very plan. And so just like you saw with respect to Israel and Gaza, we are hearing out both sides of this war to understand what can you commit to end the war. And that's ultimately how we are going to get to an agreeable solution. That's what the president has directed of his team. I know there's a lot of criticism out there and a lot of doubters, but I would just remind you of the historic success that this president and his team accomplished in the Middle East. We believe that is possible with Russia and Ukraine, and we're hoping and working very hard to achieve that.
Wow, that's awesome. Let's hope so. Let's hope they can achieve it. Oh, come on. I watched it. I don't want to watch it again. So Trump argued Friday that Ukraine's military will soon collapse in the face of Russian pressure if Kiev doesn't agree to a much criticized plan to end the conflict. Everything across the pond is not a top priority. I think we should stay out of it. Just let them whatever, you know. Adding that would be appropriate for Ukraine to put pen to paper by Thanksgiving. If they're losing land, they're losing land, Trump told Fox News host Brian Kilmeade. We're in it for one thing, the president told. We want the killing to stop. You know, they've lost 25,000 people last month between the two countries. It's out of control. It's a bloodbath. The 28-point plan, details on which were reported to the Post on Thursday, were presented to the Ukrainian president by Army Secretary Driscoll. On Friday, in a recorded address apparently responding to U.S., Zelensky said Ukraine may now face a difficult choice, either losing its dignity or risk of losing a key partner. Currently, the pressure on Ukraine is one of the hardest. He vowed to work calmly with America and all partners. The framework calls for U.S. recognition of the entire eastern Donbass region, which has been under attack by Moscow for 11 years. Those places all voted to be part of Russia, as far as I remember. I think that happened before 2014, before the war started. I'm sorry, not before 2014, but before the war started, after 2014 stuff, after the coup. We just sold the Saudis the F-35s, thanks to yeah, but not as good as the ones we sold to Israel. That's the story I read. Like they said, Israel still has better ones just in case. So the battle lines will be frozen in the war-torn regions, Kherson and Zaporizhia. Most controversial, Ukraine would have to limit its armed forces to 600,000 troops, enshrine permanent neutrality by pledging never to join NATO, and codify that ban in its own charter. NATO, in turn, would promise not to station troops in Ukraine, though European fighter jets would be based in Poland. Well, they're always in Poland. They're always there, so that doesn't make that's not a big deal. The plan also left supporters of Ukraine aghast, with Reuters quoting one source as saying the Trump administration, they want to stop the war and they want Ukraine to pay the price. Trump defended the framework, saying if Ukraine didn't agree with it, they'll lose in a short period of time. President also insisted the Russian counterpart is not looking for more war, and he's taking punishment. And say what you want, I mean, this was supposed to be a one-day war, and it's been going on for 4 years. But in all fairness, we gave them the best military, we make the best equipment in the world. We gave Ukraine the best military equipment, and nobody makes. We gave them a lot of it, but somebody has to use that equipment. And you say what you want, they were very brave. Asked about a report to Reuters that U.S. was pushing Ukraine to agree to a framework by Thursday or risk losing American intelligence and weaponry, Trump said, I have a lot of deadlines, but if things work well, you tend to extend the deadlines. But Thursday is it. We think an appropriate time. A senior U.S. official told the Post that Ukrainian officials, including Zelensky's advisor, Rustem Umerov, had given positive feedback and agreed to the majority of the plan following discussions with Trump envoy Steve Witkoff in Miami late last month. Umerov on Friday denied the versions of events, claiming to AP that he only got organized meetings to prepare for talks with Witkoff. All right. Also Friday, German Chancellor Friedrich Merz and Emmanuel Macron and Keir Starmer called Zelensky to reassure him of their continued support. The foursome welcomed the commitment of sovereignty of Ukraine and the readiness to grant Ukraine solid security guarantees. They agree to continue pursuing the aim of protecting vital European and Ukrainian interests in the long term. It includes a line of contact between appointed departure for an agreement, and the Ukrainian armed forces must remain in a position to defend the sovereignty of Ukraine effectively. Like Let's Go Brandon says, as long as we don't have to hear about it anymore, jackpot. Closer to home, Zelensky's been mired in corruption scandals involving an embezzlement of $100 million. $100 million from the Ukrainian energy sector through kickbacks paid by contractors. Oh, wow. After investigators publicized their findings, Zelensky dismissed two top officials and imposed sanctions on close associates. One person implicated in a scheme, Timur Mindich, is a partner in a media production company that Zelensky co-owned before his election. Under the framework, Ukraine will be required to hold elections within 100 days of the agreement taking effect. Elections have been barred by Ukraine Constitution due to the declaration of martial law for wartime. Kickbacks paid by Biden's son. Well, paid to Biden's son, more like it. As more tech needs to be tested, these conflicts will increase. That's possible. How is that a fuck you? I don't understand. Trump gives Thursday deadline for Ukraine accept peace deal. U.S. threatens to cut intel and weapons to press Ukraine into a peace deal. Yeah, they have parades with our equipment. Yeah. Back to the Monroe Doctrine. That's what it needs to be. That's what it needs to be, folks. And the Hill says, Zelensky says, hopefully this deal will stop the Ukrainian aggressors, according to Collusion. Wasn't that on M14? Maybe. I don't know. The goal of SMO did not include taking over all Ukraine. Yeah. Zelensky says Ukraine faces stark choices. President Voldemort Zelensky told his country in an address Friday that they could face a pivotal choice between standing up for sovereign rights and preserving American support. I would think if they actually asked the people of Ukraine if they would rather give up the regions that have been in Russian control for over 10 years, Crimea, Donetsk, whatever these areas, they basically been annexed by Russia for before the war. It could be the basis of a final peace settlement. The plan foresees Ukraine handing over territory, something Kiev has repeatedly ruled out. Russia's going to give them territory that they have, though, in the north and in the east. He did not reject the plan outright, but insisted on fair treatment. Currently, the pressure on Ukraine is one of the hardest. Speaking at the meeting of Russia's National Security Council, Putin called the plan a new version and a modernized plan that was discussed with the U.S. ahead of the Alaska summit with Trump in August, and said Moscow has received it. I believe that, too, could be the basis for a final peace settlement. Yeah. Yeah. Collusion says appeasement always works. Yeah, always. As long as they have that piece of paper that they could wave and say peace in our time, right? Should work fine. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And apparently Ukraine and its European allies are still in the illusion and dream of inflicting a strategic defeat on Russia on the battlefield. Maybe that's what they think. Trump says he wants Ukraine to respond within a week. In a radio interview Friday, he says he wants an answer from Zelensky on his 28-point plan by Thursday. Okay. I'll give you a week to get back to me. Otherwise, you're SOL. Sounds like that's what he said. Wow. Wow. Hey, here, Zelensky says Ukraine faces a stark choice. It says Ukraine ain't winning nothing but protecting Poland. Mm-hmm. With U.S. peace plan, Ukraine risks losing dignity. Wouldn't you be more worried about life than dignity? What's more important to you, your dignity or your life? I don't know. All right, on to the next story. Said I was going to move faster, and it says just let Russia take whatever they want. If they are stronger, it's okay, right? North Dakota Supreme Court upholds abortion ban. North Dakota law requires a supermajority of 4 out of 5 justices to overturn a state law. Only 3 justices supported overturning the anti-abortion law. Abortion is again outlawed in North Dakota despite a majority of the Supreme Court ruling against the law that bans it. Oh, this sounds weird. In a 3-2 ruling, the North Dakota Supreme Court ruled that the 2023 law was unconstitutionally vague. However, the North Dakota law requires 4 out of 5 justices to overturn a law passed by the state legislature. Uh-oh. Well, then how could a lower court ban BARTA law then? It doesn't make sense. Something don't make sense. Mm-hmm. Okay. The ruling eliminates the right to abortion. North Dakota Burgum signed the abortion ban in April 2023. Signing came after overturning a Roe v. Wade. North Dakota law has limited exceptions for case of rape and incest, or if the pregnancy poses a serious health risk to the patient's life. Those exceptions are only applicable to the person has been pregnant less than 6 weeks. What? How would the person even? What? That don't make no sense. The law does not give clear guidance on doctors on how a sick woman has to be before they can perform an abortion. The clinics, patients, and doctors sued the state in an effort to overturn the law. Shortly after the ban was implemented, the Red River Women's Clinic in downtown Fargo moved into Moorhead. It was North Dakota's last lone abortion clinic. Yes, he did. He played piano with his penis for dignity. Shortly after the ban was implemented, they moved to Moorhead. The lawsuit questioned whether a physician's right to due process was unconstitutionally vague. What? As well as whether the law violated a woman's right to life and health-preserving care. What's it say? Let's go. Brandon says, I didn't say a damn thing other than we shouldn't be fighting wars, but apparently you're projecting some prior anger on me. I'm not licensed to help you resolve that. What are you talking about? I'm confused. I didn't yell at you. What are you talking about? Well, the appeals decision, the state asked the court to reinstate the ban while justices decide whether the law was constitutional. The justices denied that request in January of 2025. What? Retard warning? No bother. Years of what? Tells the class. What's going on? Hey, what's up, Karen? How you doing? I'm confused, man. I didn't say anything to attack anybody's anything. 84-page opinion. Justices Lisa Flair McEver and Daniel Crothers, along with Southeast District Judge Daniel Narum, ruled that upholding Rorick's decision. Narum sat in for Justice Barr. A vague law can have a chilling effect, deterrent effect, Crothers wrote in the opinion. A medical professional who performs an abortion with an honest but mistaken belief that it was necessary could be found guilty of a felony. Oh. For the purpose here, it suffices to say the new legislation has introduced considerable uncertainty. Chief Justice John Jensen and Justice Jared Tufte ruled to reverse the lower court decision. In his dissenting opinion, Tufte wrote the abortion was largely criminalized in the U.S. when North Dakota adopted its constitution, and North Dakota Constitution, as written in 1889, did not recognize the right to abortion. Oh, well, I hope all is well as with me. I hope all is well as you. The rights guaranteed by Article 1, Section 1 of the North Dakota Constitution are those natural rights as they are known to the people of North Dakota at the time the Constitution was adopted. Those natural rights were fixed at the time, and our judicial duty is to ensure that they shall not be infringed. Cool. A state ban provides fair warning to a reasonable person about what conduct is prohibited. No law can account for every imaginable situation, he wrote. Oh, hey, look at this. We got another gifted membership from Richard Parker. Gifted 1 membership to Jim Tells You. And it says here that Aaron Troyer received a gifted membership. Aaron Troyer received a gifted membership from Richard Parker. Aaron gets 1. That's right. And with that, folks, that puts us $6 closer. That means we are just $18. Just $18 away from an additional hour of the show. It's a really good show. That's Vern Troyer's brother. Yes. What is Putin going to invade to bankrupt the EU and start paying their health care and pensions? Maybe. I don't know. It could be. Vern Troyer's brother. Yes, could be. He says, Aldemarvo says, U.S. Americans don't care what happens in Europe. Putin doesn't want to rebuild the Soviet Union. Brussels wants to break up Russia for its resources. It's possible people want the resources out of Russia. Maybe that's part of the deal, too. I think that was something Trump was trying to work so that U.S. could go in there and get some of those resources, which I don't know. Just remember, Aaron Kermit always said it ain't easy being green. Yes. We are at war with tyrants, domestic abuse from all those in offices of trust. It says, good boy, go back to work. I'm out. I'll assume your period just began and come back when it flows later. All right, I'm sorry. I didn't know what I did. Granola for 5. I don't know what I said to offend you, Brandon, but I'm sorry if offended you. Thank you, Granola, for the 5. Like number 13, just $13. Lucky number 13. Lucky number 11. Lucky number 13 away. The majority opinion offers no limiting construction, only a rejection of the statute without offering an interpretation or the constitutional. You're waiting to chat with Audra. Oh, awesome. Thank you for the 10. Do we apologize for offending people in this safe space? Well, I don't want to offend anybody in the chat. But I don't know. That's what I'm saying. Like, if I want to, I'd like to know what I did that was offensive. That's all. And I could decide if I was incorrect or not. If I made an error in judgment. I don't try to purposely offend anybody unless I'm trying to be funny. Yes, thank you, Richard. Thank you very much. And Vince says, remember, some are not happy unless they are unhappy. Can be. Could be. It's possible. It's possible. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I saw something in the it's not you, it's me. Oh, okay. I saw something in the ghetto chat that I don't see. I'm seeing chats on Rumble that I'm not seeing. It says Barron Trump will never be president because he shouldn't, not because he shouldn't, but because he can. He's not a natural born citizen. Only one is Tiffany. That's not true. Barron Trump is a natural born citizen. His father is a U.S. citizen. It makes him a natural born U.S. citizen. That's what all that means. Only one of your parents has to be natural born, not both of them. So, oh, and then Richard Painter comes back. Richard Parker, I'm sorry, says, I can handle the offending for you, Jim. Well, thank you. And with that, we are now $1 away, just $1 away from the additional hour of the show. Wow. Are we going to really be held back for $1? We're going to be held back for $1. Oh, no, Richard. Wow. Richard comes in for $1 now and says,
Tactical assessment. Red Chinese victory. Impossible. America will never fall to communist invasion. Communism is the very definition of failure.
With that, folks, with that dollar from Richard Parker, we are now $75 away from a second additional hour. That's right, $75 away from a second additional hour. Oh, and Bella's moving. Bella's moving. That got Bella moving. Thanks, Richard. Thank you, Richard. Thank you, Richard. Thank you, Richard. Thank you, Richard, again. And thank you to Brian Ogden also, and all the other people who donated today. Thank you very much. Thank you to Trepanator for the 5 on Cash App. Thank you to everybody. That's right. Thank you, Richard, for all you do for all of us. That's right. Thank you for being a friend. Travel down the road and back again. The heart is true, and I'm a booty to boo boo doo. So instead of looking at the real risk the law poses to women during a medical emergency, the analyst upholds the law and looks to the language and rights of frontier days. Barron is 15 years out age-wise? I think he's I think Barron is at least, I think he's 21, 22. So yeah, he's at least 15 years, something like that. Bella can walk. Yes, he can walk. You're a pal and a confidant. And if you threw a party, invited everyone you knew, you would see the biggest grift would be from me. And the card would say, thank you for donating at Cash App, PayPal, and Rumble Rants. If you want a family dynasty in charge, move to Europe. No one wants a family dynasty in charge. Hey, Allegheny News, what's up? Hey, Jim, how you doing tonight? I'm doing great, man. Doing great. Just talking about some news. Someone watched Golden Girls. Oh, yeah, I watched Golden Girls. What are you talking about? It says, learn the constitutions so you know when violations made and evidence to instruct our servants. Yes. Yes, yes. And AP says abortion is legal again in North Dakota after court reverses a judge's earlier decision. Yeah. Abortion illegal in North Dakota again. And the card attached would say you owe $17,839. Blanche. Jim is a golden girl. Yeah. Even PBS comes out and says abortion banned again in North Dakota after court reverses a judge's earlier decision. Oh, this is a funny story, which I like funny stories. So, did you see Trump wants to remove TPS from Somalis in Minnesota? Todd Blanche, or are you talking about Blanche from the show? Trump did remove TPS. He doesn't want to. All he has to do is do it, and it's done. He doesn't need anyone's permission. So he has left the building. Missouri's judge loses job for routinely wearing a Elvis wig on the bench and playing music at his hearing. Yes, a judge would dress up in an Elvis wig and sing and dance in court, and they kicked him off the bench for that. Wow. North Dakota has no real citizens. Their population is like 1 per square mile, so this decision means about nothing. Oh, okay, cool. One wonders whether jurors in his courtroom wore blue suede shoes. A Missouri judge lost his job for repeatedly making irrelevant Elvis Presley references during hearings, playing his music at swearings in, and even wearing an Elvis wig along with other bizarre behavior on the bench. Sounds like a good time. Sounds like they were just having some fun. Because they ain't nothing but a hound dog crying all the time. St. Charles Judge Matthew Thornhill resigned Friday after a disciplinary committee found he routinely sported an Elvis-style pompadour wig and aviator sunglasses along with his robe while making rulings around Halloween season. So wait, so this was just a Halloween costume? So he got fucking fired for wearing a Halloween costume? That's fucked up. That's fucked up. Look at him. I mean, that's just funny. That's just funny. Elvis sent me to prison. That's funny. While rocking the king's costume, he allegedly had a strange Elvis-centric swearing-in process. He would let litigants or witnesses select how they would be sworn in prior to testifying. Clowning around on stage is enough for removal, but abusing the people, not enough. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, think about it. Yeah, largest concentration of thieves in America, Somalis and Minnesota. Yeah, oh yeah, there's oh yeah. If we make it to the if we make it to our our most favorite part of the evening, if we make it to the illegal alien crime section, which is always part of every show, but I've been trying to put it further back in the show because some people are saying like it's all we talk about every night. So better than the wigs they wear in England. Yeah, I mean maybe jailhouse rock in the courtroom. Yeah. Went to a party at the county jail. Prison guy was there and they began to wail. Warden stepped in and said, "What's the thing?" All jumped into the purple gang. Let's rock. Everybody, let's rock. One option involved Thornhill playing Elvis music from his phone. He would refer to Elvis Presley during court proceedings, such as referring to Elvis's date of birth or death, when such statements were irrelevant to the proceedings before the court. The rock and roll loving judge ultimately failed to maintain order and decorum in his courtroom. The Missouri Commission on Retirement, Removal, and Discipline found. They just fucking hate fun. I guess they just don't like fun. Should put illegal alien crime first in the show. Many like to ignore it. Well, I don't know, man. I pay attention to everything, Brian. It's huge in welfare fraud. Oh, yeah, they stole like lots of money. It was like billions of dollars, actually. Billions with a B. Billions with a B they stole in Minneapolis, yeah. Come on, Jim, it's the warden threw a party. Oh, I don't know. I don't know. He must not have been a Dem voter. Must not have been. He probably was a Republican judge, so that's what he got him. So he was also found to have mentioned his previous preferred candidates for an election to people voting, to multiple people in court. You think trillions? Well, I wouldn't put it past some trillions. The commission found he once hand-delivered a personal reference to a judge in a case involving a parental rights and adoption of a child, breaking a rule that forbids judges from appearing as character witnesses. Oh. And they sent money to Somalia to fight against the U.S. Yeah, they did. Just interweave illegal crimes with like one every 3 stories. I guess I could try something like that, but it's hard to anyway. But he realizes how disturbing the serious nature of the court proceedings were. I don't know. After seeing this picture of the guy, though, I'm starting to think they made the right move getting him off the bench. Especially that bow tie. Thornhill routinely dressed as Elvis to work. I think around Halloween, though. He ultimately agreed to a 6-month suspension followed by a non-revocable resignation. He'll then be banned from holding any future judicial offices in Missouri. That look on his face, though, that says he couldn't immediately reach for comment. That look on his face to me screams like this guy right here. That's what I'm seeing. Missouri judge who wore an Elvis wig and often played his music in court agrees to step down. He's going to step down now. He's a libtard. Glad he's gone. That's what I'm looking for. The tie, too, yeah. If the people didn't revolt over COVID, we deserve whatever happens. Yeah. Yes, there should have been a revolution. There should have been a revolution. And oh, well, we all want to change the world. But you all pussied out around COVID. So he's Elvis dude. Yeah. Elvis dude. All right, now we got this story. DOJ signals Bolton could face additional charges. It's not too late. Yeah. The whole rhythm section was the Purple Gang. Okay, yeah. All right, all right. I don't know fucking words to Elvis songs, man. Jim working to do Trump weave style. It's coming along. I thought you were going to say Gangnam style. Whatever it is, Gangnam style? Gangnam style? Department of Justice signaled on Friday that former National Security Advisor John the Walrus Bolton could face additional charges over his treason. His mishandling of top secret nuclear materials. Yes. National defense secrets. He mishandled them. That's a crime. The lead prosecutor indicated at a hearing that potentially other charges are possible if the government wades through the case materials, and he's accused of sending diary-like entries to relatives about his day-to-day operations. Oh, yes. The next G. Gordon Liddy could face a rope. Abby Lowell, the attorney for Bolton. Oh, yeah, he was attorney for Biden and Bolton. Offhandedly referenced the possibility of new charges at the hearing, saying maybe they'll try to bring others. I hope not. The trial date is yet to be set. District Judge Theodore Chwang, appointee of President Obama, agreed to extend the schedule for discovery and set at least one status conference for October, albeit begrudgingly, after pressing both prosecutors and Lowell over the lengthy timeline. Oh, man, with all that singing talent, how can we ever keep him from quitting YouTube and making it big in Nashville? I do not sing well at all. I'm a horrible singer. Chiang questioned whether the Justice Department has been adequately prepared to indict Bolton, suggesting a good prosecutor would have discovery ready the day the charges are filed. That's not true. Being from Illinois, you thought you know the famous Paul Simon. Yes, I know the famous Paul Simon, senator from Illinois, who wore a bow tie, not Paul Simon, the singer. I think Paul, honestly, if I'm trying to remember Paul Simon, the senator from Illinois' famous legislation that he got passed, I believe was passing seatbelt laws. I think that was Paul Simon's major legislation was fucking seatbelt requirements. I think that was it. I could be wrong, but I think that's what it was. Karen. Prosecutors explained the intelligence community had much to parse in addition to the filter team. It was Buckle Up. Yep, that was him, right? That was Paul Simon, wasn't it? Yeah, because he was involved with all that like crash dummy stuff and testing, and he was like, he was really tight with that Ralph Nader dude. That Ralph Nerder dude. That nerd Nader. The Nader nerd. Later Nader nerd. He frequently criticized Trump after leaving the administration. The Justice Department also recently charged Director Comey and Letitia James with investigating other Trump foes. Yeah, Ralph Nader. Yeah, Ralph Nader, Nerd Nader, was connected. Like him and Simon were buddies. They were tight. They were pals. They were compadres. Partners in crime, they say. Maybe they were gay lovers. I don't know. Wow, look at this guy. 2 Texas men indicting for planning to invade Haiti. Who the fuck would want to invade Haiti? What do you want to invade Haiti for? That's retarded. Jim could start in Branson. We're going to Branson town. Actually, it's Jackson. I love that song by Johnny Cash and June Carter Cash, whatever her name was. We're going to Jackson. Did you hear about the 2 North Texas guys that were planning on invading Haiti? Are you being funny? Because it's right here. A Texas man indicted for planning on invading Haiti. I just heard about it now. I mean, who the fuck would want to do that? That's retarded. Texas man indicted for planning to invade Haiti. Take women and children as sex slaves. Are you serious? This is a real story? This is a really, really story? This is a really, really story. I can't believe this. I cannot believe this. 2 North Texas men have been indicted for planning to invade Gonave Island off the coast of Haiti to make the island's women and children into sex slaves. Is this just some people that were talking shit online that got arrested, or is this like an actual plan
They've been indicted for planning to invade an island off the coast of Haiti and turn women and children into sex slaves. According to the Eastern District of Texas, the 2 men are facing charges including conspiracy to murder, maim, or kidnap in a foreign country. The DA's office says the suspects were planning on committing the crimes between August of last year and July of this year. The plan was to recruit a mercenary force of homeless people from Washington, D.C. to unlawfully invade Laguna, which is an island off.
Okay, come on. This is fucking retarded. Hey, yeah, have they seen the Haitian women? They were going to get a militia group of homeless people to invade. This is fucking ridiculous. Come on. This is like a couple of people that were on meth talking online or something. I just now arrived in beautiful Florida. A flight was supposed to leave at 5:30 p.m. We took off from Des Moines in Iowa at 9 p.m. Refuses to go through x-ray, so the body search. Lol. Well, Mr. Iowa refuses to go through the x-ray, so the body search. Lol. Oh, well, have fun. What part? I don't want to dodge what part of Florida, but Florida, the weather's been pretty good out here. It was 80 today, so it's very nice. This is crazy. Pipe plans. Yeah, these were like people smoking crack or smoking meth that came up with these plans. Smells like FBI again. Totally. This is nuts. I thought they'd at least get to Oak Island or something for the treasure. This is crazy. Like, we're going to have homeless people. We're going to get a militia group of homeless people. Come on.
The Republic.
Let's go back.
Name or kidnap in a foreign country. The DA's office says the suspects were planning on committing the crimes between August of last year and July of this year. The plan was to recruit a mercenary force of homeless people from Washington, D.C. to unlawfully invade Lagunov, which is an island off the Republic of Haiti. Now, from there, Gavin Weisenberg and Tanner Thomas, who are from North Texas, they were to carry out their, quote, rape fantasies, turning women and children into their sex slaves. Both men face life in prison if they're convicted.
Has the JobFlex grid designed to help.
I'm going to go out on a limb here and say that this is a bunch of bullshit. That's what I'm going to say. Yeah. Gavin Rivers, 21, and Tyler Thomas, 20, were indicted by a federal grand jury, conspiracy to murder, maim, and kidnap. Did they, what, did some, like, the two men planned to recruit a mercenary force. They allegedly planned to invade an island and carry out rape fantasies. When were they arrested? They could face 30 years. Since the Haitian Revolution, the island has been a repeated target of foreign interventions. This is fucking a bunch of bullshit here. It said their plan was to do it to July of 2025. This is November. Obviously, they didn't do it. Why are you arresting them now? They didn't invade the island. What the fuck? Yeah. More charges can be filed against Bolton. Yeah. That's crazy. More charges can be filed against Bolton. They're saying it's not true. Yeah, what in the fuck? That's what I'm saying. Homeless mercenaries. This whole thing gets better, crazier. It's crazy. That's what I'm saying. It's fucking nuts. One of them joined the Air Force to prepare. Yeah, but wait a minute. But they said the plan was to do it before July of 2025, and they just arrested him now. So that's like what, did they have a fucking time machine? They were going to go back in time to do the invasion? More charges possible against Bolton. Oh, here we go. This is, we were talking about, this is the only Epstein type stuff I was going to talk about tonight. Andy Shame. Andrew ignores call by Congress to testify. Of course, why would he come to the U.S. at all? If I was him, I would never step foot in the U.S. Ever. A congressman have accused a disgraced royal of hiding this week. You have no fucking authority over a citizen of UK who's a royal who has no reason to come to the U.S. Yes. Glad you made it here. Welcome. Yes, welcome.
Email between Jeffrey Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell, in which Maxwell appears to confirm that Andrew had a, quote, massage at her London home. Have we heard the worst of the Andrew allegations, or is this drip feeding just going to continue?
Well, I think everyone in the royal family is hoping that we've heard the last of the Andrew allegations. Of course, you know, if the Epstein files are made completely public and this sort of drip feeding ends, then you could be in for a deluge, right? We don't really know. And I think what's been so extraordinary about this story is it's a bit like it's had a boomerang effect, right? It keeps coming back just when you think it's stopped. And it comes back in the most extraordinary and, for Andrew, catastrophic ways. So I think don't hold your breath. There could very possibly be more. And in terms of being out riding in Windsor, well, I guess, the former Prince Andrew, now just Andrew, is trying to get in as many horse rides as he can before he has to pack up and leave Windsor. And as we know, he's always taken great joy from riding. We've often seen him out with the late Queen's groom, often out horse riding together. And of course, that's something that's not going to happen in his new life.
I should have said yes, his soon-to-be former royal home. So, Rob, you traced the fallout of Andrew's Epstein scandal in your new book, which we will discuss in depth later on. But you know Sarah Ferguson, and she is still in Royal Lodge for the time being with Andrew. How are they both holding up at the moment, from what you know?
Not very well, I don't think. I think even members of the royal family have taken the action. They're concerned about both their mental health. I mean, I think that most of all, you've got to be concerned about the victims of the Epstein scandal, and that to me is the biggest worry. But yeah, look, they're human beings. A lot has been taken away. They're pretty much in Andrew's case, his entire life has been completely turned upside down. So, I don't have any sympathy for him, but yeah, I think they're both struggling mentally. I think really also the other thing is, they've been living together for some time now.
Yeah, so disgraced Andrew ignored U.S. lawmakers' pleas to come clean over his longstanding friendship with Epstein. The former Duke had until today to respond for calls from Congress to explain his links. He told them to go fuck themselves, which is good. Tell them to go fuck themselves. Yeah. Yeah. Look at it. There's Marjorie Taylor Greene standing with this asshole and this asshole. 3 assholes. Yeah. Andrew Mountbatten, Windsor, misses U.S. deadline, requesting he testify about links to Jeffrey Epstein. Oh, well.
Welcome back. Today is the deadline for Andrew Mountbatten Windsor, the man obviously formerly known as Prince Andrew, to say whether he will speak to a US Congress committee investigating the convicted paedophile Jeffrey Epstein.
Pedophile.
Andrew was invited by the US House Oversight Committee to face questions about what they called his long-standing friendship with Epstein a fortnight ago. Revelations about their relationship led to Andrew losing all his titles in one of the greatest ever scandals to rock the royal family. So, what's he done? Has he done it? Will he do it? We're joined now by the legendary royal commentator, Jenny Bond. Jenny, come on then. What's Andrew done about all of this?
Nothing.
Right.
As far as we know, I suppose there's a few hours left till midnight in New York.
Nothing. Been lurking, trying to survive the wheels coming off. Wanted to get a clip for you, but Telegram retarded and cannot find it online because TikTok asshole, not user, and Telegram had no link. It's a Peter file. Oh, a Peter file. Okay. Does anyone know what a fortnight is? Isn't that a fortnight? Isn't that 2 weeks? Or is it a month? I don't fucking know. That's old-timey speak. Fortnite is a video game, I think, that the kids play. MTG can become the next Denise Austin. All right. And then this is from the Express UK. It says, cowardly Andrew fails to come clean by flouting U.S. Congress. He doesn't have to flout Congress. It's 4 years is a fortnight? I thought it was 2 weeks. I thought a fortnight was 2 weeks. Yeah. 40 days, 2 weeks. Anyway, who knows? 40 days and 40 a fortnight, 14 days. Okay. So yeah, I thought it was 2 weeks for some reason. And then, here we go. Another story. Here we go. Arizona Attorney General launches desperate Arizona Supreme Court bid to revive the sham 2020 electors case amid bribery scandal and potential federal investigation. Uh-oh. You think it's divided by 2? It's 2 weeks? This one. Oh, yeah. Attorney General Chris Mays. She's no relation to Billy Mays, the sham wow guy, or whatever his name was. Billy Mays did the... Billy Mays here with the Leak Ender 2000. Trump electors alive and is reportedly asking the Arizona Supreme Court to reverse the dismissal of her case after misleading and improperly instructing a grand jury. This comes amid an alleged bribery scandal involving Mays and her left-wing groups that paid her to prosecute electors, as well as Trump's pardon of the 77 electors who were persecuted. Mm-hmm. Come clean. The Spanish Inquisitions demand you confess. Yes. Mm-hmm. Mm. The British say it. Mm-hmm. Actually, most of the English-speaking world uses it. It's like 407 years ago, our forefathers gathered together to say that no illegal aliens should be made citizens. Yeah, that's what they said. Mays will ask the Arizona Supreme Court to revive the ruling. The Friday deadline was set by the Supreme Court after Mays asked for time to decide how to respond. In a statement, Mays said, as Arizona's top law enforcement officer and top prosecutor, it's my job to try and muddy the waters and make sure I don't go to prison. It's a fortnight, 4 years, or whatever you can say is 2 fucking weeks ago. Yeah. And April 18th, 18 individuals, including Trump White House Chief of Staff Mark Meadows and Rudy Giuliani, John Eastman, and Boris Epstein were indicted by Chris May's grand jury. The charges include 9 counts of conspiracy and fraud. The clip is from Sean Ryan and it's about Roblox and other games as a vector for pedos. Oh, I saw some of that stuff. Yeah. Fortnight is a contraction of 14 nights. Okay. And Trump was named as unindicted co-conspirator number 1. Her case fell apart after a far-left judge allowed the defendants to argue that the charges are politically motivated. The same judge later recused himself after he was busted bashing white men and making demands that other judges in Arizona support Kamala Harris against her conservative critics. A judge later ruled the state prosecutors improperly presented the case to the grand jury and failed to inform the jurors of the Electoral Count Act, which dictates the rules of electoral vote counting and exonerates the defendant. The appeals court sided with the lower court judge, refusing to even consider the case in September. Yeah, Article 4, Section 4 of the United States shall guarantee to every state in the Union a Republican form of government and shall protect each of them against invasion and domestic violence. For the very same reason you wrote can't instead of cannot. It's quicker. You've picked a fight with me, Karen. A score of 20 years. So that's 87 years. 4 years is 87 years. Mays has come under intense scrutiny and calls for federal investigation amid bribery charges, led by Ethics Counsel Norm Eisman. Yes. Attorney General gave unprecedented prosecution authority to the United States Democracy Center, which sent a memo in July 2023 building her entire case, potential criminal charges, and potential defenses. The Democratic Attorney General Association gave Mays $200K, according to a whistleblower memorandum. Justice Department has not taken any action on the allegations of corruption and weaponization. This led Rep. Abe Hamada to demand an investigation last week. Hamada further noted that despite the calls for the Republicans to move on from the stolen 2020 election, it looks like the Democrats are the ones that are not moving on from it. They're the ones actually going after these grandmothers and patriotic Americans. You got me. Sorry, I used ya instead of you for the same reason. Lol. Okay. All right. Now we're gonna zip through this real quick here. These elites are plotting a coup. Why else would they want to manufacture a crisis out of thin air? That's right. New Hampshire Democrat Mary Goodlatter, was Merrick Garland's clerk and also married to the architect of Obama's crazy shit. Yeah. Gets asked the question here. What illegal orders have the military been asked to follow? And she goes,
Have you, Congresswoman, or any other of these Democratic members of Congress heard directly from members of the U.S. military or the broader national security community who believe they've been given unlawful orders?
Well, what I'd say is I have heard from service members, and I have heard from service members, and this is all a matter of public record. What we see is an uptick of concern from the men and women who are serving in uniform about the legality of orders that are being given. And
have you, Congresswoman, or any other?
What they're doing, trying to cause orders to be questioned, is actually against the law. It's actually a federal law called mutiny and sedition. And this is another asshat, covert orders. Richard Ojeda, whatever his name is, a retired Army major, former Democrat state senator, and current candidate for Congress in North Carolina, urges all military members to refuse and defy orders from Trump, Hegseth, and other leaders. This guy's a psycho.
What's up, everybody? Major Retired Richard Ojeda here. And as a former leader who spent 24 years in service to this country, I think it's important to remind everyone that we teach our soldiers, sailors, airmen, Marines, Space Guardians, Coast Guardsmen, and members of our National Guard that if they are ever given an order that is unlawful, illegal, or immoral.
Immoral. Okay. Where is that immoral in the code? Where is it anywhere in UCMJ that says if something's immoral? Morality is a subjective standard, which is not something you can disobey an order for. The fact that he used those words, this guy should be arrested immediately. Immediately. Taken back into service immediately, pulled back into active duty and court-martialed, stripped of rank and command, and put it in Leavenworth for telling people if you find an order to be immoral, refuse it. That's against the law. That is against the law. Yeah. Illegal, immoral, or fattening. Yeah. Yeah. You know how you can tell Democrats are lying when their lips are moving. Yeah. Yeah, Karen, I understand that. They have a moral duty to disregard any unconstitutional lawful order. Yes. Yes, they do. But what they're doing, what these Democrats are doing is they're putting pressure on people, basically telling them, we're going to come after you and say that you didn't disobey these orders that we say are illegal. They're saying every fucking thing Trump does is illegal or unconstitutional. Everything. Mm-hmm. Yeah, you have a moral right and duty to unconstitutional. Not if you find something to be immoral, like, oh, I don't want to go and arrest these people because I don't want to. No, it's not. That's not in there. So if a military cook is a vegan and he has to cook a hamburger, he can say no because it's immoral. That is what this jacket just said. Yeah, that's what he said. Mm-hmm. He's using his rank. We'll get him recalled to active duty to be stripped of all rank and privileges. Yeah, that's what I say. But anyway, he's a fucking
It is their
clown.
duty to refuse those orders. This isn't rocket science. We have a wannabe dictator in office that thinks that anyone who doesn't agree with his cruel and evil ways should somehow be prosecuted or sentenced to death. This is what happens when we elevate a criminal to the highest office in the land. Donald Trump is literally calling for the executions of elected officials.
Okay, this guy's a fucking ass clown, and he actually has already been on video threatening people to beat people up and kill people and stuff like that. He's a fucking psycho. Senator Mark Kelly would operate an example of a single illegal order President Trump gives, runs to the fake news to sow distrust within the military for the commander-in-chief.
Yeah.
They would be violating their oath
correct.
if they followed illegal orders.
No, that guy's
And I guess,
that
Senator,
guy's was a
members
major
of
in the
military,
army
what
major.
is your advice to them if they come across something that seems confusing?
I think they need to talk to their leadership. You know, talk to their commanding officer about it, and tell your commanding officer why you think this may be illegal.
All right, see, what Mark Kelly just did is also a violation of the UCMJ. He said, oh, go question. Telling them to question every order. How is that a military going to break down? It's not going to be a breakdown in the military. That's why those laws exist, because you're not supposed to question every order. You're supposed to operate on the assumption that every order you're given is lawful unless you know for a fact it is unlawful. And if it isn't unlawful and you try and fight and say, I'm not going to follow that because I think it's unlawful, and when you find out it is lawful, you're going to fucking prison for mutiny. These people are instructing the military. This is a fucking color revolution. That's what's happening. Yeah. When you get the orders, it's the order. Yeah. Like, oh, go talk to them about it and tell them why you think it's no, that's not how this fucking works, man. That's not how it works. Wow.
There are lawyers within the military, the Judge Advocate General Corps. You can have a conversation, with somebody who understands the law. There's always the option of you review the UCMJ with your leadership and you explain to somebody why you think this may not be lawful.
Yeah. And here's a sitting senator saying, pick a side. So they're trying to say that there's two sides here. Pick a side. Children, mere children, playing with fire while the rest of us are doused in gasoline. Previous generations got united we stand, divided we fall. We get pick a fucking side. The President of the United States called Democrat members of Congress to be executed. Picked a side. And you haven't picked a side. You better pick a fucking side. This is a member of Congress saying pick a side. So it sounds like this is an insurrection. That his side, this is a revolution. This is civil war. They're rebelling against the federal government because he wants you to pick a side. It's either the side of the federal government or their side, the Democrat side. The same side that supported slavery is now supporting the slavery of illegal immigrants. And that's what they want.
The President of the United States just called for Democratic members of Congress to be executed.
That's a lie. He called for people that commit sedition or treason to be executed according to the law, which is what the law states. That's all he said was seditious behavior, the punishment is death. But when you fucking clowns are out here talking about illegal orders and what your duty and right is, that's fine to say, but someone says, well, yeah, no, sedition and conspiracy, yeah. But so you're saying, no, we're not saying there was illegal, telling people what to do. We're just saying that that's the law. Well, he stated the law also. And now what you're doing is sedition.
This is not normal. We cannot allow this to feel normal. This, as far as I know, has never happened before in the history of the country. Every Democratic member of the Senate and the House, their life is in jeopardy right now, especially those that were specifically
We can only hope. We can only hope.
Media post. Democratic senators and House members who were simply saying that no member of the military should act illegally or in violation.
And the president's simply saying that treason, sedition, insurrection is punishable by death. You guys said that all the time a couple of years ago. I remember hearing it. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Of the Constitution. The President of the United States just called for members of Congress to be executed. If you are a person of influence in this country, maybe it's time to pick a fucking side. If you are a Republican...
Oh, okay. So pick a fucking side. Okay. All right. So it's a war. It's pick a side. Okay. Here's a 21st century Benedict Arnold. Mark Kelly continuing to implicate himself in his act of sedition. There's nothing more American than standing up against internal enemies of the Constitution and holding them accountable. It's time for Cash Patel and Dan Bongino to do their fucking job and arrest Kelly just like they would have done to Benedict Arnold. This treachery cannot stand. Yeah. Like Joe Biden said, it's not who votes that matters, it's who counts the votes. Yeah. Carl Higbee just delivered the most powerful warning yet about the Democrats hinting the military should refuse orders. He isn't speaking hypothetical. He lived the consequences. He describes how his platoon captured the butcher of Fallujah, the terrorists who drilled holes in children's faces and burned and mutilated American contractors. Let's hear what he has to say. Let's hear what Higbee has to say.
Our military is not pawns. We're not in some game. This is deeply personal to me. This is the story of my platoon that got stuck. I mean, we got stuck in the middle of a political game just like this. Almost got us killed, thrown in the brig, facing charges. At one point, the U.S. military considered turning us over, U.S. soldiers, over to the Iraqi court system so they could prosecute us where we'd likely be hung ourselves. Oh, you didn't hear about this story. Hold my beer. It's in this book. This is the story of how stupid political clickbait videos like Slotkin's have real consequences. You remember this guy from the movie American Sniper? This guy right here that was going around drilling holes in children's faces? In 2009, my platoon caught that guy in real life, the butcher of Fallujah. He was also the man responsible for hanging 4 American contractors, one of which was a SEAL brother of mine, whose body was lit on fire dangling from a bridge by his neck. My team caught that guy. We were authorized to use lethal force, and we exercised restraint to bring him back alive for the betterment of the mission, because we were one part, and we did it at great risk to ourselves. And because of orders, so he could be questioned by the CIA and save more lives. Imagine if we had violated that order. After all, we knew he killed one of our own, and he had a gun when we apprehended him. So honestly, like, Democrats, don't ever, ever lecture me and my people on restraint and decorum. And when we brought him back, the same people who sent us on that mission, they turned around and court-martialed us for abusing him in custody, which we clearly did not do, which was proven by our full acquittals almost immediately in a courtroom, all because politicians wanted to have the talking point that they stood with the Iraqi people over their own soldiers. And the generals, whose promotions need to be approved by the Senate, people by like Mark Kelly and Alyssa Slotkin, they bent the knee and they sacrificed me and my team at the altar of their political correctness. And you know what it did? It made every soldier in Iraq and Afghanistan second guess everything. Hesitate to prosecute that IED. How many people did that kill? Apprehending terrorists, or even pulling the trigger when they needed to. Hesitated for their own safety in a courtroom that might not come. Stuff like this gets people killed. It creates stupid rules of engagement, some of which killed my friends personally, because they want to play political grandstand games with no intention of ever backing the soldier up when he does the bidding that they subtly encouraged. This is why people hate politicians. They pop off like there's some moral authority without listing a single specific thing that Trump has done illegally.
Oh, there you go. Speaker Johnson says it's wildly inappropriate for lawmakers to encourage troops to disobey orders. It is. It's wildly inappropriate.
What I read was he was defining the crime of sedition. Okay, I don't. That is a factual statement, but obviously attorneys have to parse the language and determine all that. What I'm saying, what I will say unequivocally, that was a wildly inappropriate thing for so-called leaders in Congress to do, to encourage young troops to disobey orders. I mean, think of what the threat that is to our national security and what it means to our institutions. We have got to raise the bar in Congress. This is out of control and is wildly inappropriate. And for a senator like Mark Kelly or any member of Congress in the House or Senate to be engaging in that kind of talk is to me just so beyond the pale. What I read was
so beyond the pale. White House says Democrats' coordinated video message to our national security apparatus is seditious and dangerous. The sanctity of our military rests on the chain of command, and if the chain of command is broken, it can lead to people getting killed. It can lead to chaos. Oh, let's hear it. Let's hear it. Great.
You have sitting members of the United States Congress who conspired together to orchestrate a video message to members of the United States military, to active duty service members, to members of the national security apparatus, encouraging them to defy the president's lawful orders. The sanctity of our military rests on the chain of command. And if that chain of command is broken, it can lead to people getting killed. It can lead to chaos. And that's what these members of Congress who swore an oath to abide by the Constitution are essentially encouraging. We have 1.3 active duty service members in this country. And if they hear this radical message from sitting members of Congress, that could inspire chaos and it could incite violence and it certainly could disrupt the chain of command. And so these members knew what they were doing. They were leading into their credentials as former members of our military, as veterans, as former members of the national security apparatus to signal to people serving under this commander-in-chief, Donald Trump, that you can defy him and you can betray your oath of office. That is a very, very dangerous message, and it perhaps is punishable by law.
I think it is. I personally think it's punishable. I think something should be done. Hey, children, you are smarter than your teachers and you should not follow legal orders. Yeah. Why do they talk about it? They have the authority to do something. They need reporters' approval. I don't know, man. Somebody needs to do something. Somebody needs to do something. How to do something. How to do something. Yeah. House Republican veterans speak directly to the military and intelligence community, urge them to stand strong for law and order and the Constitution.
We must be loyal to the oath that we swore to stand firmly with America.
I'm Congressman Jim Baird.
I am Joe Wilson.
Representative Nick LaLota.
Congressman Zach Nunn.
Representative John McGuire. Representative Keith Self.
Congressman Rich McCormick.
Representative Barry Moore.
Representative Rick Crawford.
August Pfluger.
Congressman Andrew Clyde.
Congressman Tom Barrett.
Former Navy. Former Vietnam Army combat veteran.
Retired Colonel of the South Carolina Army National Guard.
Marine Corps pilot.
Former member of Alabama National Guard.
Former Army Special Forces Green Beret.
Former U.S. Army soldier.
An Air Force veteran.
28-year Navy officer.
United States Army. After my active duty service, I joined the intelligence community.
As a former Navy SEAL veteran,
All right,
I
so
want
these-
to speak directly to the members of the military and our intelligence community. I want to speak directly to the members of the military and the intelligence community.
I want to speak directly to the members of the military and the intelligence community. Like you, I raised my right hand because I love this country. I believe in something bigger than myself.
That freedom is not free.
My oath was clear. Uphold the Constitution.
That commitment is powerful.
We all understand the importance of the chain of command.
Troops, listen up. Any service member who refuses a lawful order is subject to court-martial for violating the Uniform Code of Military Justice. We study what's lawful and what's not lawful, and the Democrats stunt insinuating that they're illegal or unconstitutional orders. It's downright dangerous. It is corrosive. It is
This is
meant
just
to
as bad,
weaken
in my
our
opinion,
country
as what the
and weaken
Democrats did.
military. Do not give in. Stand firm in your duty.
Protect the American populace from an enemy that would do us harm.
Same shit.
the right thing to do, and that is a lawful order.
Your commitment to this nation is vital.
Stay
Yeah.
focused on the mission.
Yeah, this is
Defend the
almost as cringe.
Constitution,
I
and
agree.
remember
This is almost
the
as
oath
cringe
we
as what the
took
Democrats
to
did.
defend America.
Remember, the promise we made.
Why wouldn't it let me pause it?
So help me God.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Troops,
Why wouldn't it let me
thank you
pause
for
it?
serving. Continue to prepare.
I don't know why it wouldn't let me pause it. That was weird. Wouldn't let me pause the fucking video. Yeah. Same speech. I don't get it. Why are they telling me on video, go tell the military? This smells like distraction. It does. What Dems are saying about Trump's illegal orders is total bullshit. Yeah. Let's be clear. The rhetoric is designed to foment insurrection and violence against the commander-in-chief. President Trump has the right to be furious right now.
You can refuse illegal orders.
Well, first of all, what they're saying is complete and utter bullshit. There are no illegal orders.
I like how you're holding it back a little bit.
What? Illegal orders?
Yeah.
You were in the military. Has he given an illegal order that you know of?
Not that I know of,
And they
no.
can't name one either. I was on CNN yesterday, and we had one of these clowns on, Jason Crow. Casey Hunt asked him, is there a specific order you're worried about? Well, no, we're just generally saying it out loud. The other thing they said there is vital. The threats to our Constitution aren't just coming from abroad. They're coming from within. They said the president is a threat to the Constitution. This is the same garbage they have been peddling that has led to violence against the president, that has led to violence against ICE agents, that has led to violence against people who are operating our government right now. This rhetoric is designed to foment insurrection against the commander-in-chief and violence against the commander-in-chief. It goes back to 2016. They have never believed this man is a legitimate president. That's what their base believes. And so they demand that their elected officials treat him like he's illegitimate. Telling the soldiers not to follow orders from the commander-in-chief? If I were Donald Trump, I would be outraged. He is outraged. He has every right to be outraged. This is extraordinarily irresponsible what these Democrats are doing.
I'd say it's illegal. Arrest them. And here goes this guy. Says, this is Dr. Interracial. He says, don't sacrifice your military record and dignity for lunatic Democrat politicians. There he is right there. You see him? Oh, look at that. Huh. Let's see what he has to say, huh?
My name is Sergeant First Class Retired Army Billy Ray Todd. And this message for the current service members that serve in this graceful nation of ours. Recently, we had a bunch of Democrat lunatics going to tell you to defy orders from higher command. And I'm going to tell you what you're going to lose. Number one, you're going to lose self-respect. You're going to be a dishonorable discharge. You're going to have a DDT-14 that's going to be not good to have. And you're going to lose all your military benefits. You're going to lose benefits to take care of your family, everything, retirement. You'll lose it all because they want you to sacrifice yourself and your goals for their political agenda. Those Democrat lunatics, politicians don't care about you. They do not care about you. They want to destroy the military within. And they should be not serving in public office. We need to have people that serve public office, just like you serving in the United States military, to honor American values and strength. So do not listen to those lunatics, those Democrat lunatics out there who hate this nation. Thank you.
Wow, he said they hate this nation. I agree. They crossed the line. Yes, that's what I say. I say they crossed the line. Yeah, like Amuse says, this is a color revolution. The 6 members of Congress have created a vertical TikTok video encouraging members of the military to ignore Trump's unlawful orders were delivered full well knowing they would be consumed by young enlisted personnel alongside inspirational TikTok videos like this one targeting them, turning the military against the president by making the act seem like an act of duty, and patriotism is the first step in any color revolution. Watch this video, and the truth about the refused order message from at least Assorted and their other colleagues was designed to do. Whatever this is, I don't know. Well, I can't because I got music playing, so, but you get it. This is some weird stuff they got going on here. See, playing all this stuff. Thunder, blah, 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 blah. Yeah, for the military, but I can't play that because, then this is the mom of Data Republican says they won't be charged because they were careful to skirt around the edges. I disagree. I think they crossed the line. 82nd degree static jumps suck. Yeah. I wish Trump would have addressed this before playing footsie with Zoran. Me too. The Zohan. Don't mess with the Zoran. God needs me because my flesh can't, but our intent is obvious. Tell me if they're guilty. Whoever's intent to impair, influence, or loyalty, morale, or discipline in the military of the United States. Well, I'd say they interfered with that. Yeah. They shall be fined or imprisoned not more than 10 years. Good. Lock them up. This guy says, holy crap, the Democrats have cooked themselves. The senators and representatives who demanded sedition from the CIA and military are now being investigated by the Secretary of War and the military courts. Oh, good.
Do you worry that someone on the Gerald R. Ford will say, hey, I don't want to do this Venezuelan mission. I don't want to sit out in the ocean. I'm out. Do you worry about them saying, I don't want to go to Chicago and be in the National Guard? I'm out. Do you worry about that?
No, I don't worry about anything like that because I'm a leader and they do as I say. But it certainly is not a good situation. It could happen with certain leaders. It could happen. I don't think that happened with me, but you never know. Look, that was a very terrible. That was a traitorous statement. That was a horrible thing to do. I believe they broke the law very strongly. I think it's a very serious violation of the law. Yeah.
I know Todd Blanche seems to be looking into it. Your assistant deputy, or your deputy.
Well, I think
attorney.
Pete Hegseth is looking into it too. I know they're looking into it militarily. I don't know for a fact, but I think the military is looking into it. The military courts.
Do you worry that someone on the Gerald R. Ford will...
I think he caught himself there. He said, well, I don't know it for a fact. I think they are. He knows. He knows they're looking into it. He knows they're looking into it. Pete Hex has probably called him and said, we can recall all these people to active duty if you want and court-martial them. Yeah, 5,000 people on the aircraft carrier. All it takes is one to say they're opposed and do something stupid. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And here's... Mike Davis says, not a scoop. Representative Jason Crow is a giant douchebag. Yeah, because this guy, Representative Crow, seeks the police to probe Trump's threatening post. So this guy wants Trump arrested for saying that sedition is punishable by death. So Crow's office is seeking U.S. Capitol Police investigation into President Trump for what they're describing as intimidating, threatening, or concerning social media posts. This fucking guy who claims that I'm a ranger and I got threatened. Gitmo and Guam. Yeah. It's highly unusual for a member of Congress to request a police investigation to a sitting president. Yeah. His request is a long shot and touches on murky, long debated legal questions about the extent to which a president is subject to the normal process of a criminal justice system. The White House has denied Trump's post appeared to label comments by a group. He didn't say their names. He just said, urging, he did not say that. He said sedition is punishable by death. He cited Trump's Truth Social posts as traitors, demanding they be arrested and put on trial. So demanding someone be arrested and put on trial is now against the law? demanding justice? Whatever that Proud Boys guy's name is, yeah. Enrique Tarrio. Guam is a World War II barracks. Took one person having a bad day to cause final retirement of Iowa's BBs. That's right. That's right. The big battleship. Yes, it was. What these guys did was worse than Enrique Tarrio. Yes. Trump saying seditious behavior punishable by death. And then he reposted another post that hang them, George Washington would. All these posts by President Trump are intimidating, threatening, and concerning, his office wrote in an email. We'll continue to report on these individually to the Capitol Police. For Capitol Police said, for safety reasons, we don't discuss any potential investigations. The Capitol Police might find themselves in a major problem if they start to try to fuck around right now. So why it happened, so they all recorded a video urging service members to defy orders. Trump responded that it's sedition. Yes. I'm not threatening them, but I think they're in very serious trouble. I'm not threatening death, but I think they're in serious trouble. In the old days, it was death. That was seditious behavior. That was a big deal. Did we go over Trump's peace plan? Yes, we went over the peace plan already. Okay. All right, on to the next story here. We got Dollar Store Obama gets irate with CNBC's Becky Quick for daring to press him on his ACA talking points.
To satiate, if you want to get done, you are going to need at least some Republicans to come over. Why not start with a 1-year extension or potentially even a 2-year extension?
Well, Leader Schumer offered a 1-year extension in the context of trying to end the Trump Republican shutdown.
Yeah, but that's different. But I'm talking about what you have now. Let's not go back to what's done in the past and what has not been extended. If you want to get something that has actually done, you need to do something that will have bipartisan.
You can ask me the question. You can ask me the question. I'll provide the answer.
Answer the question instead of going back.
I'll provide the answer. No. I'm providing an answer in order to provide context.
It wasn't the Republican shutdown.
Refused to take yes for an answer. It was a very reasonable multi-year extension that was offered. It was a 1-year straight extension plus a multi-year process through a bipartisan commission to more permanently resolve the Affordable Care Act issue. So having that context is absolutely important, regardless of what you may think.
It's important context to make me realize that I don't think you want to get a deal done. I think this is something where you'd like to see the rates go higher and allow the Republicans to hang themselves with that. Is that the answer?
That's absolutely
politics?
That's absolutely a ridiculous assertion. And really, shame on you.
3 years is not going to get passed, so what do you do?
Shame on you for saying that. Because we're fighting. It's not a partisan issue for us.
It's
In
not
fact,
at all.
the states that are most impacted as it relates.
How did Obamacare pass? How many Republicans voted for Obamacare? Oh, none. That's right. How many Republicans voted for these subsidies? Oh, none. That's right. Oh.
Relates to an Affordable Care Act tax credit expiration are all Republican states. We're talking about West Virginia, Wyoming, Alaska, Mississippi, right? Tennessee. Over and over and over again, we can go through the list.
That's why you probably have some Republicans who would sign on if you guys could come up with something that actually looks like a bipartisan deal.
Listen, this is not a partisan fight for us. It's a patriotic fight.
The patriotic fight. Oh, it's a patriotic fight. Okay. Yeah. So here. So this is what the look. You can see the look she gave him, like, yeah, okay. And then she's like this. Ready? Oh, God. Oh, whatever. All right, here we go. You guys wanted it? Here we go. Illegal alien from Guatemala sentenced to 70 years in prison for raping an 8-year-old, filming it, and distributing it to the World Wide Web last year in Texas. This third world pedophile was imported by Joe Biden and the Democrat Party for votes.
Now, this is a Guatemalan citizen. He was sentenced to 50 years for possession of child pornography and another 20 years for indecency with a child. He pleaded guilty to both charges. Some background to the case: the young victim had actually reached out to SAPD. They forwarded the case to Bernie Police Department. In addition to the trailer park incident, Bernie police discovered video on his cell phone, which was sent to other people in a group text. And that's where they found other images depicting child pornography. Quinones will be released to ICE after his extensive time in prison. Now, this is a Guatemalan.
Mm-hmm. Would have been the general population in prison. Yeah. These people got released with ankle monitors and then killed these people. It's crazy. On-duty Long Island postal worker arrested for helping an illegal alien escape. Tamara Moronga Wonga ripped open the door of a federal vehicle in front of a post office and told a handcuffed detainee to run for it. This is what the Democrat Party has incited.
Postal worker on Long Island in court this afternoon, accused of helping a man escape from ICE custody while she was in uniform. Prosecutors say Tamara Mayorga Wong confronted officers when they were detaining the man, then opened a door on their vehicle and told the man to run. The incident happened outside a 7-Eleven near the West Hampton post office 2 weeks ago. The man was caught after a chase. Mayorga Wong was also taken into custody. ICE agents say they had to forcibly remove her from her own car. Postal worker on Long Island.
See, this is what you call people who are allowed to come to this country and they never assimilated. They're not American. That's not an American citizen. That's a foreigner that's here to conquer us. She should be deported also. If she was naturalized, her citizenship should be revoked and she should be thrown the fuck out of this country, along with her fucking offspring. Scumbag Democrats. Legal alien arrested in Florida for throwing hot coffee on a mother, her 11-month-old baby, now on ICE hold for deportation.
Property. I'm not in your property.
She says Nina began yelling at her, telling her to put a leash on the dog.
I was just really shocked. I was just really shocked, and I didn't really know how to react to it.
Before allegedly throwing coffee at Ponce and then Kelly while she was holding her son.
So you're going to throw coffee on an 11-month-old baby? Everybody? I might be able to call the cops. Call them. Yeah, I will. This is your neighbor, everybody.
911 was called, though Jaskalainen was the one arrested.
What happened?
Charged with 2 counts of battery.
You have the right to remain silent.
According to the sheriff's office, she's an illegal immigrant out of Finland. With these charges, she could be deported.
Deport her the fuck out of here.
Which means they'll review her file and her case to determine if she'll be sent back to Finland.
My property. I'm not in your property.
Huh. Probably another person that got an FHA loan thanks to Biden because they let all these people come in and gave them government-backed loans, the illegal aliens. Mm-hmm. Oh, look at this. Legal alien from Honduras arrested for aggravated rape of a child, distributing child porn in Virginia. 4 years of mass importation of pedophiles and gang members by the Democrat Party for votes. Oh, what do you know? Another one.
To a crime alert, as a Newport newsman is facing several sexual assault and child pornography.
Newport newsman. You see how they report it? They don't say it's like, oh, it's all these Americans doing this. It's not fucking Americans doing this, people. It's a fucking illegal alien. Stop calling him a fucking Newport newsman. He's not a Newport newsman. He's a fucking illegal alien.
Sexual assault and child pornography charges. 21-year-old Anthony Josue Rodriguez Arias was arrested yesterday. The Gloucester County Sheriff's Office says a child told police Rodriguez Arias victimized them 2 years ago. The Sheriff's Office has also notified federal law enforcement, saying Rodriguez Arias is from Honduras and they believe he's in the U.S. illegally. To a crime alert.
Oh, but then why the fuck did you call him a Newport newsman? Mecklenburg County, North Carolina. Mother finds out detainer for suspect accused of molesting her 13-year-old daughter was not honored. She wants justice for her daughter and deportation for Jordan Castillo Chavez.
She didn't know until this week that the suspect was not a U.S. citizen. Now that she does, she believes justice is deportation.
It's hurtful that my child is a victim and they have this person and let him go.
Farmisha Rose says her daughter was 13 years old when she met this man, 29-year-old Jordan Castillo Chavez. Rose found out when she looked at her daughter's phone.
And then there was this message from this guy. I'm like, who is this? And she's like, oh, that's my friend. I just met him online. And I looked at the messages. There were photos. There were messages that indicated like he was coming to pick her up. And I immediately just like dropped, like I fainted. Like, this is not happening right now.
In March, Pineville police charged Castillo Chavez with indecent liberties and other sex-related charges. He has since bonded out. This week, Customs and Border Protection named Castillo Chavez of Costa Rica as one of the worst criminal illegal aliens, blaming his release on a failed ICE detainer. I asked the Mecklenburg County Sheriff's Office to respond. They said ICE made a request for advance notification of his release, but said the agency did not issue an ICE detainer. The Sheriff's Office said they did not notify ICE when Castillo Chavez bonded out because they weren't legally required.
This is serious.
Rose says her own father had committed a crime in the U.S. and was deported back to his country years ago, so she understands the impact and believes it's what Castillo Chavez deserves too.
We need justice. He needs to go. And he needs to enforce it.
Marion County, Indiana, last month, 17-year-old Emmanuel Awadoba was arrested for shooting to death a 38-year-old William Deaton II, which occurred in September. Awadoba as an immigration detainer hold. Detectives learned the incident began when a female went to the location to meet up with a male. The male became aggressive. The female pointed a gun at her, causing the female to scream. It's believed that Mr. Deaton went to help the female when the suspect fatally wounded Mr. Deaton. 17-year-old boy arrested.
38-year-old William Deaton II died in the September shooting. That shooting happened on the 30th at Austral Drive. That's a residential area on the city's west side near Eagle Creek and I-465. Police found Deaton shot dead at the scene. Officers say it started as a meeting between the teen and a woman. Police say she screamed for help when the 17-year-old pointed a gun at her. Officers say Deaton was trying to help when he was shot. 38-year-old William Deaton II.
Yeah, I turned the clip up all the way. There's nothing I can do about it. So here, the homicide arrested 17-year-old male for the 38-year-old's murder. Murder pending, state of Indiana. Emmanuel Awababu. So he's probably an illegal from Africa somewhere, probably. We got this. Cameron County, Texas, 2 daycare workers have been indicted in the hot car death of Logan Urbina, a 4-year-old boy, which occurred in June. One of the accused, Karen Silva, is an illegal alien who overstayed her non-immigrant visitor visa last year. We are still put up with illegals here. Why? I don't know. We shouldn't. I turned the clip up as high as I could. Sorry. The pair is accused of leaving a child in a van after a field trip and are charged with injury to a child, elderly, disabled individual with reckless, serious bodily injury. Oh. This is why you should never vote for a Democrat. Yeah. So this is the woman, this woman right here, legal alien. This is Epic Border Control Commander just posted a video telling leftists to shove it. It doesn't matter what he said or she said, we're still doing our job. They're melting down over mass deportations. Let's see. Oh, they're going to play music? Why you got to play fucking music? Whatever. I hate the music. ICE raided a seafood depot in Newark again, and they had the building surrounded during the raid. It amazes me that they still keep raiding this place. Find or charge the owners too. Full story below. On Wednesday morning, roughly 2 dozen heavily armed and masked agents, including FBI personnel, raided the Ocean Seafood Depot, a wholesale seafood distributor on Adams Street in Newark, New Jersey. 15 individuals were taken into custody. This marks the second enforcement action at the same site this year. There's older workers being removed both times. And start arresting the people who own the business.
By my count, there are 26 agents at this front entrance and many more on the rear and sides of this building. I have been told that this raid started at 9 o'clock this morning and that 3 vans left, possibly holding people who were working inside and eventually detained and taken away to a detention center. By my count.
Yeah. Well, everybody, we got about, we've been going about 3.5 hours, and I was a little late starting the last the goal a little bit late, so we got about 15 minutes left to go. It doesn't look like we're going to hit, the for a second hour, so we'll be wrapping up here shortly. A church in North Carolina is teaching the elderly how to blow whistles and film ice. This is a real video from a real class. Liberal white women are cosplaying as criminal illegal aliens being arrested. You can't make this stuff up. Well, let's see. This is going to be funny.
Has already started, as we said. People have been doing the same thing. This was an event at a church there on Monday night. People acted out immigration detainments, and the rest of the room practiced filming them and making noise to call attention to them. Has already started, as we said.
Oh, a Charlotte, North Carolina woman calls for the murder of Border Patrol agents in front of a Border Patrol agent. You are an evil person. You need to be expunged. You do not deserve to walk the face of the earth. Oh, okay.
You are a bad, evil person. You need to be expunged. You need to go to another country. You need to know what it looks like. Instead, you're pulling over innocent people, not asking for any ID and just hauling them off. You all should be ashamed. How do you go home to children, to friends, to family? Do you tell them what you do for a living? That you arrest people without cause? That you just pick them up, put them in a truck? Is that what you do? Are you proud of yourself for doing this? Are you absolutely proud?
Thank you for calling the ICE hotline.
Are you proud of this? Are you proud? You are an idiot. You do not deserve to walk the face of this earth. None of you. None of you. You are fools. I did get a name. They took somebody out of that car. And yeah.
They took somebody out of that car. Oh, no. Oh, here we go. Jonathan Thomas of North Carolina, who threatened a mass murder of Border Patrol agents, saying he would shoot them all and turn them into Swiss cheese, has just pled guilty in federal court. He faces 10 years in prison.
Affidavit details allegations the North Carolina native called the Charlotte-Mecklenburg Police Department last week, told officers he's a veteran, and then threatened to kill ICE agents and CMPD officers if immigration-related arrests continue. The document includes Thomas's alleged threat to come to Charlotte with body armor, ammunition, and night vision devices to kill law enforcement officers if he saw them making ICE arrests along Albemarle Road. He allegedly threatened to shoot them all if he saw any more arrests happen, and that he would Swiss cheese the officers. Investigators believe he was referencing the May 12th ICE arrests on Albemarle Road near a CMS campus.
Your call has been forwarded to an automatic voice message system.
I tried calling the number investigators say Thomas used to contact CMPD, but was sent to voicemail. The affidavit explains additional threats, including claims Thomas had explosives around his house, saying, "If you feel like getting a warrant for anything I've said today, I hope it's worth somebody's life." Thomas has said,
If this just happened a week ago, why did he already pled guilty? What the fuck? That's fast. Do people in prison get the vote? I don't think once you're convicted, you don't get the vote. I don't think so. I think if you're a convicted felon, you don't get the vote in prison. I'm pretty sure. Who knows? Maybe they let him now. I don't know. Who knows? 5 Antifa terrorists plead guilty to terrorism charge in the ICE attack in Alvarado, Texas. This is the first terrorism case since President Trump designated them as domestic terrorist organizations. Cover the 2 Virginia Beach clowns planning an attack in Vegas? No, I didn't see that. I don't think so. FBI arrested people for bogus charges. Arrest, convict FBI's, give them 10 years. Yes. License, registration, and insurance.
Five people pled guilty in federal court to charges related to an ambush at a North Texas ICE detention facility. It happened at the Prairie Land Detention Center in Alvarado on the 4th of July. A group of people wearing all black clothing shot fireworks at the center and slashed the tires of a facility van. An Alvarado police officer called to the scene survived being shot in the neck. The 5 people in court today pleaded guilty to a single charge each of providing material support to terrorists in connection to the incident. Their sentencing is set for March 12th. They face up to 15 years in federal prison. Last week, 9 others accused of being involved in the altercation were indicted on federal charges in that same case.
Wow. Thanks, Chris. Chris over there, Subdivisions. He's got a great YouTube channel. You guys should check it out. He sings karaoke. He's very good. He got a great voice. Says, hey, Jim, just finished up another 3-hour karaoke, checking in and supporting. Love the show. Kudos. Well, thanks, Chris. Thank you very much for the 5. I really appreciate it. Let's see here. So that puts us at 70 away from a second additional hour. What's it say? Gateway Pundit. Brother arrested for plotting to shoot. Okay, I'll check this out. Check this out. Assistant principal from Virginia and his brother arrested for plotting to shoot police and ICE agents. Oh, I think I did see this yesterday. This was yesterday's news, I think. What's going on in Virginia? Is there something in the water? An assistant principal from Virginia Beach and his brother were arrested for plotting to shoot police and ICE agents. Apparently, someone overheard the brothers talking about it in a restaurant and snitched on them. How many more people out there are talking about doing shit like this? Virginia Police High School assistant principal and 2 men accused of threatening violence is one of 2 men accused of threatening violence against law enforcement. Virginia Beach said that John W. Bennett and Mark B. Bennett were charged with 1 count of conspiracy to commit malicious wounding. Assistant principal at the Kempsville High School. Arrested in Virginia Beach at 10:47 a.m. Wednesday, and on November 19th, Mark Bennett was taken into custody at Norfolk International Airport. According to a complaint, an off-duty Norfolk police officer overheard the 2 brothers while dining at the Faux restaurant. Officers keep hearing the men talking about ICE agents kidnapping individuals. Said the conversation led them to believe the brothers needed to do something about it.
2 brothers have been arrested, charged with threatening to shoot police and ICE agents, and one of them is an assistant principal at Kempsville High School. Yesterday, Beach police arrested 54-year-old John Bennett. School officials say he's currently on leave from his position there. The other suspect is 59-year-old Mark Bennett. Court documents reveal several disturbing details about this investigation. So let's send it over to 10 on Your Side's Ethan Krause, who joins us live outside of that school. Ethan.
Yeah, Aisha, good afternoon. And you said it, the court documents do reveal details leading to the arrest of Kempsville High School Assistant Principal John Bennett. Now, according to the Virginia Beach Police Department, John Bennett and his brother Mark were both arrested on November 16th after police received information that the brothers threatened to commit acts of violence against local police and ICE agents. Court documents reveal that the brothers were overheard talking at a restaurant where Mark Bennett mentioned how he had an assault rifle with the ability to utilize explosive rounds that could penetrate protective vests. He also mentioned flying to Las Vegas to meet with like-minded people and how he would return with, quote, enforcement ideas and plans. The documents went on to state that John Bennett added statements of support and enthusiasm for the suggested violence and also expressed interest in joining his brother on the trip to Vegas. Now, both brothers were arrested and charged with conspiracy to commit malicious wounding.
Wow, that's crazy. So that's the story. Wow, that's crazy. Oh, wait. Guess what? It was right here. It was the next one. 2 Virginia men arrested. An assistant principal at a local high school and his brother were arrested for plotting to shoot ICE agents. Great job. So I did have it. It was right here. It was the next one. I posted a link for Chris's channel. If you guys want to check out that channel on YouTube, he's does great, good stuff there. So here it was right there. I had that. I actually had it. I can't believe it. Then we got this. What's this? This is Usman Kamara submitted more than 300,000 fake meal claims for feeding children, stealing over $1 million from taxpayers. He claimed to feed 1,000 kids per day, 7 days a week, at his tiny store. He bribed an NGO worker to approve the claims who fled back to Somalia. Instead of buying food, Kamara allegedly used over $1 million for personal luxuries, including credit card bills. He wired $100,000 overseas, including $90,000 transfer to Hong Kong. He spent over $200,000 to purchase the building housing his store, ensuring long-term control. If I own the building, nobody can kick me out. It's mine, he quoted in reports. Paying approximately $87,000 in bribes to Feeding Our Future employee for sponsorship and approval of the fake claims. This is nuts. Nuts. The Feeding Our Future employee receives his alleged bribes, also been charged, but fled to Somalia.
Usman Kamara is the 77th person charged in the massive $300 million Feeding Our Future fraud case. According to the indictment, during the COVID-19 pandemic, Kamara claimed to serve more than 300,000 meals to children out of his small grocery store in North Minneapolis. Federal prosecutors say Kay's Dollar Grocery and Deli, also called Kay's African Market, had already been disqualified from participating in SNAP because of suspected fraud. Now, a grand jury indictment charges him with stealing about $1 million meant to feed hungry children.
The owner is also charged with wire fraud for allegedly using more than $200,000 of the fraud money to buy the building where his store is located.
If I own this building and I want to be here for the next 20, 30 years, nobody can kick me out. It's mine.
NPR News interviewed Kamara in 2020 after he defended his store from rioters after the murder of George Floyd. Now, since he allegedly purchased the building with fraud money, the indictment says it's subject to forfeiture, so the feds can recoup some of the funds.
Good.
However, past cases have indicated that other money referenced in the indictment, including a $90,000 wire transfer to Hong Kong, alleged bribes paid to a Feeding Our Future employee, and funds spent to pay off Kamara's credit cards, is likely gone.
So the Feeding Our Future worker who Kamara allegedly paid $87,000 in bribes is charged, but that person fled to Somalia before the very first indictments came down. Of the 77 total defendants, 56 of them have been convicted so far. Julie.
So I noticed.
Wow. 56 convicted. Get them all, man. Get them all. Got to catch them all. They're like Pokemon. Got to catch them all. He defended his stores against rioters. Lol. Yeah. They were mostly peaceful, remember? American Trucking Group, dedicated to getting illegal truck drivers off the roads, tipped off authorities about a hotspot on I-40 in Texas known for illegal foreign drivers. After multiple law enforcement agencies launched an investigation earlier this month, they inspected 105 vehicles and 31 illegal drivers with commercial licenses were arrested. All 31 were detained by ICE, and they were in the country illegally, and a majority of the CDLs presented were issued out of California, while none were issued in Texas. We need the American truck drivers to tip off authorities. We need more of them and help get illegals off the road. Lol, even Pac-Man. Yeah, get them. Work.
All right, so if you're new to the channel, welcome to the channel. Follow, like. I got an update as I've been posting the one about Kansas City where a truck driver that was a terrorist was arrested in Kansas the other day. All right, so on November the 8th, I received a message, a direct message from one of the followers to the channel that said, hey, check out this hotspot for foreign drivers in the Panhandle of Texas off I-40. There's a pilot across the street from the pilot. There's a truck stop where a lot of foreigners get together at. So, and this ain't my truck you're seeing. I don't know whose truck this is. But anyways, so I did some investigation. We sent a team over there. We noticed that there was a lot of foreign drivers in and out. A lot of them couldn't speak English. So we sent out the right emails. Let me give a kudos to that subscriber who gave me that tip. On November the 11th, I sent out some emails on November the 9th to the right people. November the 11th, Texas State Troopers, Department of Transportation, Homeland Security, Border Patrol set up a perimeter on I-40 right there at that hot spot that the subscriber told me there was. Out of 105 drivers that was pulled over, that was looked at, 31 of the semi-drivers was arrested because they were here illegally in the United States driving a semi-truck. Thank you. Kudos to Texas and kudos to that subscriber for sending us that information. And y'all keep sending us these tips. I mean, we will investigate them. We will get them off the road. All 31 drivers that was arrested for being here illegally, and they had a CDL, all 31 CDLs came from the state of California. So kudos to everybody in Texas for doing their job. This truck right here is from Canada.
Well, On that point, Sean Duffy tried to do something, and Judge Boasberg stepped in and told him he couldn't. Said, "Oh, you can't do that. You can't do this. You can't say that they can't drive, even though the law says they can't drive, and it's been a law. You can't do that." So we'll see what happens. It's going to get appealed. They appealed the ruling, so we'll see what happens with that. But with that being said, we've been going for 3 hours and 50 minutes. We did not hit the second additional hour, unfortunately. So that's going to be all for us this evening. I'm going to remind you all to please hit the like button. Please subscribe if you haven't subscribed. I'm going to send you over. The only channel live right now is Talking and Drawing with Shane Davis. They're doing a closeout on his comic book. So, that's the only thing live. If you want to go over to just say hi to him. But I will see you all Saturday night again. We'll do another show Saturday night. Maybe 9 o'clock. I'll start tomorrow night. See what happens. I don't know. And the next week, we look forward to starting next week shows at like 9, I think, next week, because there's some stuff going on with Joe's going to be streaming earlier at like 7 o'clock at night, he said, 6:30, 7 o'clock at night. And so then he'll dump his people into me at like 9 o'clock, and he's going to get dumped in by Robert Gouveia. So maybe we'll have a whole bunch of new people here Monday, Tuesday during the week. So we'll see what happens. But like that, thank you all for being here. I'll see you all again Saturday night, and come on back for Jim to tell you the news.